Here we go now. 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 we go now. Here 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 we go now. go now. Here we 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 go now.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. What's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Make it clap.
Hello and welcome to the final day of PUBG Mobile Club Open in the Pakistan region 2021 fall split. An amazing journey has been showcased from all of these teams, but today being the final day. The day that all these teams had been waiting for is upon us, where 4 games is the only opportunity that these teams are going to be given. With that, a huge thanks to Oppo F19 Pro, hashtag #WookUpYourFun, along with, of course, our official media partners, Nemo.tv. I'm going to be a hoster, cast analyst. It is going to be Lotter, and joining us is going to be Ankit to take us through the journey. And in that, it is going to be an exhilarating, fun journey for these teams.
Indeed, till now we have been getting those exhilarating moments till now, because right off the go we just saw I8 dominations towards all these 12 matches. They have already crossed 200 markup. In just 12 matches they have got the 202 markups, and there is no other team getting even close to the 202 markup. And the team that is second towards them, it is going to be QWERTY with 139. But for the moment, it is going to be total prize pool that is on the stake, and along with that, 1 slot for PMPL Season 4. I guess I8 Esports are already ready to get that mark.
Absolutely. I mean, the way that team has been performing in the finals itself, in the regional finals, that team has absolutely obliterated the entirety of the lobby. And in doing so, it's the kill-hungry team that I8 has been, and has been showcasing that sort of a play again and again in every single game. And that has, of course, helped them climb up to the ladder as well. But talking about the point structure, of course, you do get that chicken dinner with 15 points, followed in with second position 12, and then third is going to be sitting on the 10th position, and so on that goes. But 13 to 16 sadly do not walk away with any of those placement points. So that is something that the teams that are on the second page of the leaderboard are going to have to try and synergistically work towards. With that, looking on through the teams itself, we do have Team QWERTY, another team that has been well, I've been keeping an eye out towards Team QWERTY itself, and this team has slowly but surely climbed up the ladder, slowly, but of course, is it a bit too late, is what the conversation would be for them today to answer.
That can certainly be the question, as 139 point with which they are sitting at the 12th position. But we have some other teams also. We got to see Clarity and also UAGxTUF, and then we have teams like Portal Esports, ZARAR Esports, Team Sky and Team Star. So in yesterday's gameplay itself, we saw Portal Esports making a green arrow again and again into their name, and thus resulting, now they are finding themselves in a good sort of position. And then we have teams like Freestyle IV Esports, Quraysh Esports, Modified. I guess today will be a contention, and I mean, they will be in contention with the Clarity Esports, Team QWERTY and Freestyles, and at the end of the day, we'll get to see which are the teams that will be finishing themselves in the top 2 and top 3. For the moment, the overall ranking is where we are heading towards, and this will clear more and the picture more and more, as Clarity Esports, 123 points, getting there at the 3rd position. It's good, but they need the chicken.
They certainly do need that chicken. That's no two ways about it. On the other front, when it comes down to I8 Esports, they have been able to accumulate 3 chicken dinners for themselves. 111 kills is what this team is sitting at. So 111 points right off the bat in just the kill department is what i8 have been able to sustain for themselves, and thus find themselves on our first position with 202 points. A massive lead, a massive chunk of lead that this team have been able to create. And in terms of the side of Team QWERTY, well, they are looking tough. This is going to be looking real tough, because when it comes down to the play itself, it will be between Team QWERTY and of course Clarity as well, because when it comes down to the points that these teams have been able to accumulate, there is a difference. Team QWERTY with 139 points. On the third is going to be of course Clarity Esports with 123 points. So it is going to be a tough situation for those two teams that find themselves on a second and third. But on towards the second page of the leaderboard is where things are close. Things are certainly close, because one good game and these teams who find themselves on the top 10th spot, like for example we have North Esports, or the 12th spot, which is going to be Team Sky, on of course towards even Quraysh Esports or IB Esports. All of these teams, they have the opportunity, and all they need to do is play their cards right to be able to move on along into the top 8 itself.
Indeed, that is going to be the case, as now, as you perfectly mentioned, Modified and teams like North Esports, Quraysh Esports, they really have all these opportunities to go all guns blazing. And also for the teams of Team QWERTY and Clarity Esports, they are finding themselves into a head-to-head competition. Not much of a point difference, just it is going to be of a close to 60-70 point difference is where they are standing at this moment. But the point is still remains that where are the chickens for Clarity Esports? They do have 4 opportunity for today's game itself. The kill number is certainly where Clarity Esports is dominating, but somewhere down the line they need at least those important 15 placement points, and then they might be getting close towards where QWERTY is standing at the second position. Damage Gel is where Clarity Esports is certainly lacking, but still the kill conversion rate is higher against to what Team QWERTY is standing with.
Absolutely, and that is certainly going to be favoring Team QWERTY for now. But of course Clarity Esports, a team that has been so ferocious in so many different tournaments that we've seen, is going to have to just bring in this synergistic play one final time, or rather 4 times all in all today with the 4 games that will be played, because of course that is what the schedule will dictate, where we do have Erangel where things start off, and close the day off also it will be Erangel, but in between we have 2 interesting games that will be Miramar and Sanhok, where things go a little off tangent, and that is something that we can anticipate the side of Team Clarity to bring into themselves. But again, with that, we always do have the X Factor team, and today's X Factor team is going to be i8. Why, you ask? Well, this team has already been able to accumulate 202 points in the 12 matches they have played. They are going to be participating in the final 4 games from the regional finals for this region, and in that, when it comes down to the 4 games, this team is going to be creating a massive lead. 202. We shall see by the end of the day what sort of a lead will this team be making.
Definitely. I mean, they are looking strong at this moment. Everyone going on strong. Crypto, the man of the moment, the man in charge, 3.25 kills per match. At the end of 12 matches, 39 kills is where he is standing, and he must be looking to increase its tally to at least half-century mark up to 50, and that is pretty much doable. Just 11 kills in 4 matches rather. He will be the one to have our eyes set upon. And then we have reviews, talk about his performance also. 5-3, 5-5 damage. This is also one good player from his side. I mean, talk about everyone. Blade is also the one that has just a lot of damage. And then we have Wuzium, and that is the reason why they are dominating. They are way above where Team QWERTY is standing at this moment. And they have the 3 chicken, they have the kill points, they have the placement points. And then we have enough of talking about i8. And then today itself, we'll have the gameplays that we can expect to see, or maybe we can get to see maybe some sort of drop location changes, because till now they have been going towards the area of military base. If we talk about the game Erangel, we might see to go from i8 side, where they might change the drop strategies or so, because in other regions we have got to see those things. And since maybe because they can play at least one of the match as those practice matches for the future itself, because they are still in that cushion where they can enjoy this privilege itself.
That is true. That is so true, of course. And as we move on down with the list, of course, it is going to be scheduled on our screens. That will be, of course, confirmed with Erangel to start the day off, move on towards Miramar, and then Sanhok finally close the deal on Erangel once again. These 4 matches, well, certain teams are going to be jittery. Certain teams are certainly going to be a little jittery, because, again, few of them, they know that climbing up all the way to the top of the leaderboard is probably going to be next to impossible. But all they should be working towards, hopefully, is going to be give in the best possible play that they can as a team. Do not let go of the opportunity, and do not shy away from those kill department kills, and of course those placement points as well. But again, I mean, on the desk we can call about all of these things, but when you're in the game itself, these players, they are certainly trying their level best. But when you've got the likes of i8, Team QWERTY, Clarity, and so many FS, these teams are so ferocious and such a perfect blend of skill that they bring to the table that they absolutely in every single game walk away with so many kills and do not let room to even the teams that are on the second page so many times. But once again, that will be a fingers crossed sort of a conversation, because we do have Team NFPX Sky as well on that second page, on that 12th spot that we did see. So teams that are on the second page, there is nothing deterring them apart from themselves. And maybe today will be the day that we shall see a lot of differences in their playstyle, because after all, we did see the points. The points are so close. From the 8th position holder that's sitting on 80 points on towards the 9th position holder sitting at 79 points, and then from there we move on down towards the 60 markers. So again, one good game and these teams are going to be able to bring in the best play, but that is only if the top 3, top 5 teams allow them the opportunity to do so, and that of course will be rectified today, which of course which Ankit was mentioning as well. Will the drop contestations be there, right? On the final day, will there be changes in the drop location itself? And that is something that I believe i8 could throw a curveball towards. I mean, you were talking about it.
Indeed.
There could be a case. There could be a case. But if the military base is not going to be their zone, then what do you think? Where would this team be bringing in that curveball towards?
Maybe towards the area of Rozhok or maybe Water City, but then it's up to them where they would like to do so. Be any team, any sort of team, maybe towards the area of Lipovka, maybe towards the western side of Georgopol, because these are the infamous city, and maybe towards the area of Pochinki where we can get to see.
Absolutely, that is so very important as well, because when it comes down to those urban areas itself, we do see teams get themselves dropping on towards the urban areas, but of course that is where there are going to be contestations, because till now these teams have played so many games against each other that the entirety of the lobby pretty much understands what sort of a drop they are going to be confirming for themselves. But one thing is for sure, when it comes to Pakistan region, the teams are so very aggressive. They try and get into the fight right off the bat. They do not wait for any formalities to take place. Either it be the first 2 minutes of the game itself. We've seen teams knocked off and taken and eliminated in the first 4 minutes itself. So today being the final day, what I'm expecting from these teams is going to be bringing in a perfect blend of that aggression and of course the skill that will be dominating in today's games. But let's find out, Agman. What are your expectations, Ankit?
I mean, I really want UAGxTUF to go off the blast.
Well,
I mean, the 5th position is where they're spending themselves, and I really want 52x Rage also to have some good performance in doing so. It seems that the flight is already on its way. The Big Bird has taken the lead as we are getting to see flight path making its way from the northern side downtown towards the area of military base. That means each and every team will be having the safe glide, apart from the extreme eastern side of Lipovka, where certain teams loves to go towards that side. But certainly the cities like Severny, Rozhok School, Georgopol, Desnapol, and I will be completely jam-packed, and Pochinki is where the flight path is completely dissecting the cities into 2 equal halves. Not in the city, the map is also getting dissected into 2 equal halves.
Absolutely, for now that is certainly going to be the case, and with that we've got Team Star going on across towards Severny from the looks of it, and that is where they are going to be absolutely sitting on with no contestation whatsoever at all, because there is going to be no team around in the vicinity for that team. On the other front, when you talk about the side of Clarity, they are going to be going to their no location of Georgopol, and with them there will be a team drop into the exact same region, because there seems to be a contestation that can be anticipated between those two, as Ivy is also going to be around into that corner itself. But talking about drop location changes, i8 is most certainly not going to be the one. But it seems like Team Star also has another team in the vicinity, as there is a fight taking place in Severny itself.
It seems that it is going to be ZARAR, if I'm not wrong, that is really making a big dent onto them. As now Fury goes down, it seems that the team that is really jumped off into the same area is really making them pay. And yes, it is the case, as ZARAR is finding themselves in the same vicinity. As Fury goes down, it is some different fight where Ivy is also taking down the players from the sides of Clarity Esports right off the go. As Blood expected, we preempted, and the fight that we all wanted to see is on the go.
Oh yes, it is. Gyro has been dropped down. It is going to be side of Team Star. That is not off to a wonderful start, because Fury has been knocked as well, and a kill. 2 kills have been confirmed for the side of ZARAR Esports. What a perfect start to this team. And now as they push on along, it is going to be Fury who they're going to be confirming the kill on in the first few minutes of the game itself. Team ZARAR have been able to, I mean, this is what we were talking about. Pakistan region, this is what I love about this region. Every single game that these teams participate in, there is fights. And along with that, another fight that is going to be taking place on towards the Georgopol region is going to be Ivy against the players of Clarity, where Clarity are going to be trying to get themselves absolutely away from that area, and of course along with that also will be maintaining the position and the vehicle on the other front. It seems like Team QWERTY are also going to be part of the fight against the players of PES.
Team Star completely been rolled over by the sides of ZARAR Esports, and they have not secured 4 important points, 4 important kill points, and that will be certainly helping the course in order to jump and make a jump onto the overall ranking. But for the moment, the circle is where they need to make a move. 1600 meters where they need to travel, but in doing so, it is going to be Portal Esports. Baby will be trying to make a move as Voltrex from that running vehicle has been completely taken off, and right off the bat, the fights are on as we just expected to see, and Portal Esports just continuing than yesterday's gameplay itself. They are on a roll. In yesterday's gameplay itself, we saw Portal Esports getting the first chicken of the day, Day 3 regional finals. It was their chicken, and it seemed that they are not deterred with the sort of confidence that they are carrying in. They really are the team to look out for.
They most certainly are showcasing that. In the first 3 minutes itself, we've seen 2 to 3 individual fights that have taken place, and in doing so, Team QWERTY has been at the receiving end. On the other front, we did see Team Star getting eliminated altogether itself from the side of ZARAR, that was, and they've been able to accumulate 4 kills in the first 3 minutes once again. But in doing so, ZARAR Esports, they did move on towards the northern side, but the zone has moved on to a different front altogether. Thus, this team of ZARAR Esports find themselves 1,000 meters away. But for now, it is just the first 3 to 4 minutes, and of course, when it comes to the initial moments, it is going to be the loot party that these teams are going to be inviting them toward. And of course, that is what all of the teams, in fact, are going to be working on for. But now, as the journey continues on, we are going to be looking at the side of I8. There is no team around to contest that position of theirs, but it seems like Quraysh Esports are going to be drawing themselves in towards that region and are probably going to be making a fight, or rather pushing I8 to take on a fight against them. But well, let's see if it will favor Quraysh Esports or not. But for now, this is what the team of Quraysh Esports have decided to do.
Indeed, I mean, Quraysh Esports pretty much in the closer vicinity, but the fight between Clarity and the team that was in the closer vicinity is just not done. That's still Clarity Esports are trying to take down the players, as we get to see Portal Esports. An interesting split, 2 players close to where Mansion City is there, and 2 players that is going to be Baby, and 1 more player in the same vicinity is in the area of Milta. What sort of strategies are they are up to? It's still pretty much, I'm not able to process, but something is there that is being cooked up into their camp, as now we are heading towards some other fight that might erupt while trying to make a move into the zone. There's going to be Clarity that is still facing the brunt from the sides of IB, but still the best part for that fight was that everyone who got knocked just got revived. But in the earliest stage of the game, we just saw Voltrex and Khan going down, certainly making a big dent onto the hopes of QWERTY to have a very good day at the start of this match.
Absolutely, and that is certainly not favored Team QWERTY, of course, because this team is out there on the second page of the leaderboard. No, my apologies, on the second position in the overall, and in that second place, they are trying to get as many points as they can. For now, it is going to be Clarity also, because this team needs to find themselves a lot of points to be able to move on to that second spot and take it away from Team QWERTY. But it is easier said than done, because they, right now that we just saw, were the ones on the receiving front thanks to IV's onslaught and aggression that they brought on. But for now, it is going to be Clarity who will be able to get themselves acclimated towards a different area completely, and will be able to still keep their players alive. On the other front, it is going to be Quraysh who have moved on to take the fight against the players of I8, and in doing so, it is going to be Blade who has been brought down, and certainly the kill will be confirmed, wherein I8 will find themselves with a 3-man squad.
2 big teams. Talk about QWERTY's performance, talk about Clarity's performance, and now talk about I8. The players are going down slowly and steadily, but fortunately for Clarity Esports, there is no casualty whatsoever. But certainly, it was not a fortunate moment for I8, as now 1 player, Blade, has been completely knocked off and has been eliminated from this match. 1 important point, 1 important kill right off the go. Quraysh Esports must be pretty high, as they have taken 1 big player out of the lobby, and now it is going to be up to the 3 players from sides of I8. But since the point question with which I8 is standing, even if back-to-back games they do falter down, they still have the privilege that they can enjoy with going so, and this is one good thing that can happen in the case of I8. But some different tangent is going to be modified. The players have been pinned down, as now NFP Skies have also dealt a huge amount of damage, as Halsey is just surviving on 20 HP. It seemed that he was under the crosshair of some other players, but UNB is on a charge, as modified 2 players will be completely finished off, as UNB is on a go. Just in the 7 minute of the games, and we have seen 6 to 8 teams in contention.
That is so true indeed, and now it is going to be modified as the other players who are going to be trying to retaliate against that push that was made from the side of UNB, and in doing so, it is going to be modified as Bubber, who is going to try and take the onslaught to the face of UNB's players. But all 4 players chiming along to take on the onslaught will certainly not be favouring Bubber, and he will certainly be pushed off the edge and eliminated. With that, 15th position is where Modified has been eliminated. 2 teams getting eliminated in just the first 8-minute marker. Once again, stands true to the fact that the teams in this region are here to dominate and take those kills as soon as they spot their opponents.
Indeed, that is going to be a question, as now UNB, the team with a total of 38 kills, average damage of 759. I mean, the team really has that gunpowder, because 759 or somewhere down to average damage of 800 is a thing that we need to look out for, and that hasn't resulted in terms of the total number of kills and placement points that they have been securing, because they're still on the 13th position. But on a different tangent, now it seems that 52x Rage are having some different sort of approach, as they are getting hold of that potato hill from where they are trying to cut off the rotations of maximum team, and the first being Clarity Bablu, where all the 4 players haven't dealt any sort of damage, but safely they have made a move. And talking about the live ranking, I mean, we have I8 at the top 202, and then we have QWERTY, Bablu. So Bablu, I mean, really have the chance to make a move against QWERTY in this match itself. We just saw some brilliant rotation coming in, and now they are positioning themselves closer to the shore areas where they can eventually have a very good influence from there.
They are most certainly going to be placing themselves in the vicinity, and as they do so, they have found the higher ground as well. But on the other front, when we talk about the circle, we talk about the shift that the circle is going to be bringing in, is where we shall see if the teams are going to be forced to go down towards the military base or not. From the looks of it, it is going to be I8 who have absolutely decided to leave the military base and go on to the main island itself. But for how long will they be allowed to stay there is what the situation is going to be, because Quraysh Esports is also going to be making the rotation right around in that area. On the other front, Clarity is absolutely caught off guard, because UNB's players were waiting for them, and it is going to be right here. UNB bringing on the player of course, Clarity down to their knees, but no knock has been confirmed. UNB, a team that just eliminated Modified, have now taken on the onslaught to the face of Clarity Esports, but Clarity, being none the wiser, have been caught absolutely off their pants, and in doing so, it is going to be UNB who have the edge. But that was just for a few seconds, because now, since Clarity have already been given that information that there is going to be another team in the vicinity, Clarity are going to get themselves acclimated and move on to a different position altogether. But Wolf, he is going to have to be a little careful before he decides to run away in the buggy, because as soon as he does so, UNB is well equipped and prepped to bring in that spray and take him down.
Both the teams are ready. Both the teams are ready. And in doing so, it was Wolf that really got a big dent onto his face. And we can already see the helmet is completely half red. The vest is just level 1, and that has resulted himself. But the best part for that fight was that Wolf didn't go down. That means Clarity didn't need to move an inch to get the revival done. And this was one good thing that can really favor them. But for the moment, both the teams are still in the fight, as nobody has eventually backed off. It is rather Clarity Bablu that are really looking up on the backhand side, because there are other teams that can really come under the vicinity. But by the looks of it, it seems that at any point, at any time, Wolf from the side of Clarity Bablu can make a move and just try to run away. But he has to make sure, because there is a big void between him and from where the ridge can actually help him to not let that bullet get onto his face, on his head. And at that point, it can be Pharaoh from the sides of UNBxNF that will be making sure. And it seems that Wolf knows all these things pretty well, because he is not moving. He knows that it is going to be Pharaoh enough that is still holding the charge. And now Dani is just trying to assist the player from the sides of Wolf, and maybe this fight can erupt in a moment or so. And they're just waiting for that opening knock, I guess. Whenever the knock can come in whatever be the side, even if the side of Clarity or from the side of UNB, we can get to see the all-around push. And it seems for the moment the player are also not equipped with the best of the best loots, as now the grips are being attached, the grips are being changed. I mean, the scopes are also being changed. That means Dani might take the charge with that help of 4x and those M416. He can bring that opening knock, and then the team might be ready to go for an onslaughter.
They could. For now, they do find themselves in a little bit of a stalemate, but they are planning. They most certainly are planning something, and Clarity's players are going to be certainly the ones who are to be anticipated to take on that first fight. But will UNB be given them the privilege to do so? They are also keeping that eye out for the side of Clarity as to what exactly will this team be doing. But UNB have their flank angle also being created. A two-man split is what has been created from both the sides of these teams. And of course, right here on our screens is going to be Deadshot along with his teammate, who are going to be keeping an eye out for what exactly is Clarity going to be doing on the other front. It seems like I8 have decided to come back to the military base, and a decent decision certainly working in that team's favor, because they are going to find themselves onto that bridge camp situation, and on top of that, the zone also favoring them, alongside which there is no other team in the vicinity. But the northern part of this zone, that is where a lot of chaos can be created, because so many teams from the western front are also going to be making that rotation. From the north also we are looking at, of course, Team QWERTY's two players as well as ZARAR coming into the action from the farm areas, and this is where a lot of third parties are going to be eventually showcased from these teams.
It can be certainly the case, as now Northeast Sports are finding themselves in a closer proximity where 52x Rage are presently there. Modified Bullet goes down and UNB looks unstoppable at this moment, and now they're trying to take the charge. 52x Rage are on different tangents taking a fight against Clarity Esports, and now also they are going down, but certainly UNB have made a shift, and they were in contention against Clarity a moment ago, but since now UNB have made a shift, they have made a push, and now they are finding themselves closer to where the players are positioned. And now everyone is just, as the circle made a shift, everyone is just moving their way out in order to get close to where the Novorupna bridge ends and connects the main island, and it is going to be a lost cause for most of the teammate. But still, UNB, with all the 4 defeats in their name, they are pretty strong. But as soon as the ZARAR were making a rotation, it is gonna be the Grounders that are really making them pay for the rotation. Kronos takes one more knock. The Grounders are on a back foot decision, on a back foot. Shaptar also goes down. It's just a moment where the Grounders can just fall like 9 pins.
Well, what a play this is turning out to be. 52x certainly have tried to take on a fight, but it is going to be UNB's positioning that is going to be turning NES into a little bit of a sandwich situation, because from one side is going to be 52x, from the other it is going to be UNB, and this team is absolutely trying to dominate, and it is going to be, of course, the play style that both these teams are creating that is going against the positioning of Northeast Sports. On the other front, it is going to be ZARAR who were pinning down the players of the Grounders, but the Grounders have retaliated right now, and we just saw in the clip feed that the Grounders have also brought themselves along to take some knocks against the players of ZARAR, and in doing so, the Grounders are taking charge of that fight and are converting that into kill. But it is going to be a third-party situation where it is going to be the side of Team QWERTY also bringing it along, and Wolverine being the final man who will completely dominate against the side of ZARAR. But now, as the game pushes on along, it is going to be 52x who have also eliminated Northeast Sports. We are left with 12 teams remaining 15 minutes into this game.
Indeed, I mean, a lot of fight that are actually erupting, and a lot of players are going down as Northeast Sports goes on finally. 52x Rage getting the better half of them. Quraysh Esports are also on the charge. Quraysh Money takes one more kill onto the players of NFP SkyS, and all of a sudden, this is looking a haywire situation where everyone is just fighting for survival. Some teams are fighting on the main island itself. Some teams are just fighting on the northern side of that bridge that creates the gap between the military base and the northern island. And then we have Kian going down in a long range fight. It is going to be Quraysh Esports Money that is really taking the charge. From last game itself, we have seen Money and Bilal along with Adi work in tandem, and when all these three signs, it is an all easy affair for Quraysh Esports, as now Ash has been spotted down, and Money will be making sure that he will be getting that important placement points and important kill points, as all these fights are still happening onto the southern base, onto the southern military base, as we are getting to see still in contention the two teams that we got to see and we need to see in the northern land. But talking about the northern land, we have Clarity Esports still in a fight with UAG, and this is now extending for a long time. For the last 7 to 8 minutes, both the team are just fighting. They are just fighting with no knock whatsoever, with no kill whatsoever. Clarity Esports still now, they haven't got a lot of success.
Well, for now, that is certainly not favoring the position that they find themselves in, because it is going to be now TUF also bringing themselves known into the arena, where it is TUF, UAG and Clarity in that blood triangle that they've created right there. But on the other front, talk about Quraysh Esports. This is a team that did find themselves onto the military island itself, and now going to have to make a rotation to get into the zone itself, and as they do so, they can be caught off guard, because it is going to be I8 who will be on the other front waiting as they have the bridge camp working for themselves. And this is where Clarity's Esports player are going to be, well, not too good, because after all, when it comes down to TUF, they have also murdered of their own player, but Wolf most certainly has been knocked, and it is going to be Dani who's going to be bringing in some help and some covering fire for his teammate, and in doing so has been able to bring down 2 of the players from TUF, but the kill has not yet been confirmed, and as soon as he tried to push, he will be stopped in his tracks, because Virus is right there to claim the throne and claim the points for his team, and in doing so, Virus has been able to avenge the perfect spray that was being showcased from Clarity.
Indeed, Avengers still holding the back. Edgar has been given the revival, but Thor suddenly has been pulled down to that Molly really made a detrimental damage onto his face, but you need to make sure that as soon as the circle makes a shift, they have to make a move, and it's already UAG. I mean, the team is looking pretty tough for this moment. Eliminating Clarity Esports was not a small task. That was really a big task, a Herculean task that they have achieved for now, and it is going to be just the 56 meter. But as soon as they try to just loot out all those crates that was present, it was 52x Rage that was just ready to pin them down, and now i8 are just waiting. As soon as UNB makes a shift onto them, make a push onto them, they will be pinning down the players. And the best part for reviews is that he has his Tesla in front of him, and if getting destroyed, he can really use it as a potential cover. But from the back end side, it is going to be Portal Esports, all 4 players that can really chime in upon, and some players from the sides of i8 are still in the water, and also not from just i8. Players from the sides of Quraysh Esports, it seems that they are also finding themselves into the water areas, but as soon as they find themselves away from all these situations, it is going to be the fishing that we can expect. That's where some more and kills where Portal Esports can get racked up for themselves.
Well, we've got 11 teams remaining. 18.5 minutes into this game, and it is going to be Quraysh who decided to, of course, get that rotation made through the water, and it is going to be Adi OP who will be lost to the cause, because the blue zone will most certainly be engulfing him on the other front. 2 players still do remain from Quraysh Esports, so they might be able to make it to the shore, but on the shorelines there are so many teams waiting for the teams that are making this water rotation. We saw i8 in that vicinity as well. Alongside all of this, the grounders have found themselves very much in the presence of course, these teams, but the zone is not going to be favoring so many of these teams, because as the journey moves on along, it is going to be 52x Rage who are looking pretty neat in terms of the zone control. It is going to be, of course, the side of FS from the north that are going to be making that rotation against the players of IV, and if FS is not careful, there can be a retaliation from the side of Flex or IV Esports, who can most certainly puncture the position for FS. But for now, of course, Freestyle will be very careful as they do, because the compound that this team is going to be favoring is going to be in the zone for now.
i8 reviews go down. Portal Esports on a move, on a charge, and the fishing is where they are getting a lot of kills racked up for themselves. UNB, they are holding the edge of the circle. They are on the shorelines area, and they must be pretty much confident and comfortable in position to which they are positioned at this moment, as now Freestyles also are trying to make a move into the center lines of circles. All 4 players are alive, no kill whatsoever. Until now, they have found themselves away from all these fights on a different tangent. Quraysh Esports Bilal also falls down, and it seems that QWERTY's 2 players alive have been spotted down, as now EV Esports Flex KSF is really making it tough for them to survive. Destroyer just gets away from that US, but he needs to make sure that one more SLR shot gets connected onto him. If gets connected, it has been connected, and KSF with one more knock into its way. I mean, these are the really handy guns that can actually come into the favor if used to perfections. And talking about used to perfection, M249 is on a charge, M249 is on a roll, as now Virus is trying to make a move onto the players of 52x Rage. 2 players only surviving, and in that situation, it is going to be an easy task for 52x Rage to make a move. 6 kill is with what they are standing, and they must be looking to get away from that 16th position as soon as this match ends.
Absolutely, will most certainly be working towards on that front. TUF have been eliminated on the 11th with 6 kills to that team. On the other front, when it comes down to IV, they have the compound, of course. Right next to them, we did see, of course, Freestyle make a rotation as well, and now Team IV are from that compound going to be absolutely pinching down the players of Team QWERTY on the other front. When it comes down to UNB's positioning, both Esports trying to make a rotation, but Apoipe as well as Insane have been brought down. Mom2 is the man who now has the reign to try and bring this spray under control, and of course showcase to the team that is dominating them. Well, not for long. He will not be allowed to do so, because it is going to be the side of Grounders who get the better half of that fight. 8 teams remaining. A lot of third-party ruckus is being created.
Night making nightmare for the teams. Indeed, it was an opportunity for the teams to get more and more kills dragged up, but certainly the grounders are making a big move onto this map of Erangel itself with 3 tiles, all 4 players making a move into the circle. It is also going to be EVs, but for the teams, one thing is common, is that none of them have any kill whatsoever, but rather it is going to be 9 kill with which UNB will be making a move. But will they be making a move? That is going to be the question, and it seems that that is being answered in style from the sides of 52x Rage Esports, as now Rage is raging at this moment. His M416 is just not stopping. He is reigning supreme in all these moments with Quraysh Esports also on the backhand side. It becomes important for Dubai to get all these things racked up for himself, as now they are getting the shot onto the heads. Zen just not stopping, just throwing everything, whatever he has in his M416. 3 max he has completely opened and thrown onto the same areas where UNB were just finding themselves into. And now Quraysh Esports makes a big dent onto the players of UNB as Dubai brings 2 knock with the help of just 1 grenades.
What a play this is turning out to be. Ivy against the players of Freestyle. I mean, this compound, there had to be a contestation. That is exactly where Freestyle are reigning in supreme, as they have knocked so many of their players. It is going to be Gully Boy and Black who have to now reign in supreme against the players of Ivy, and Fady looking really good as he tries to push on against the players with this AKM. It is going to be allowed. He is not going to be moving absolutely, because the health department that Fady was moving in with is certainly going to be helping the team of Ivy, and Freestyle have been eliminated on the 6th spot with just that 1 kill. We've got 5 teams remaining, and now it is time for the side of Ivy to just get themselves moving away from this area to get into the comfort of the zone itself. And talking about the zone, there are so many kills that are still taking place in the zone, where the grounders have absolutely pincered down the open rotation that was being made from the 2 players of QWERTY. That Wolverine has been lost to the cause, and it is going to be Destroyer, the only man surviving.
And from the back, who is there? It's going to be Ivy with all the kills in their number. 5 is the number with which they are trying and striving for to make it more. 5 to 6, 6 to 7 is going to be the only achievement and only target. But it seems that they are trying to use all the smoke just to blind that small little opening that can offer some of the grenades. But Destroyer can really be destroyed at this moment, as now Sensei is trying to take the fight, but the grenade comes in and lands in the right spot, taking down 1 player, and this gives an opportunity for Destroyer to survive in the same vicinity.
Well, for now, certainly the nade that he was able to knock blob has certainly worked in his favor, as Sensei has been dropped. But in all of this, Destroyer is not finding himself in an easy position, because right behind him is of course going to be Ivy, and on the other front is going to be 52x's 2 players as well. So looking at the teams, it is going to be Ivy with the 3-man squad, 52x Rage who are not part of this fight whatsoever at all with a 2-man army, and the grounders who find themselves in this small little shack have also gotten the 2 players surviving. But for how long? Because the grounders onslaught is just being pincered down from the side of Destroyer. But Destroyer, being the 1-man army that he is, will he be allowed to reign in supreme between these 2 teams? Because as soon as Ivy starts throwing in some Molotovs or some nades against the player of QWERTY, it is going to be the end for the player FF. And now it is, well, Knight, who is the only player surviving from the side of grounders, because Destroyer, a perfect spray of utilities from that dude has resulted in him absolutely getting another kill for his team and for himself, because the grounders has been brought down to a 1-man squad as well.
Indeed. That is going to be the case, as 1 player is what's standing for the moment of the grounders, and the fight is still on between both the players. One is finding themselves in the small little pit, and this grenade can deal a huge amount of damage, and Destroyer can just survive. Won't survive. The grenade will fall to its cause, as Knight receives onto the rampage mode is where he's standing with 5 kills. The grounders, I mean, exactly the 5 kills with which Knight has gotten down. He's looking phenomenal at this moment, as Dubai is also strong from the backhand side, and he needs to make sure that Dubai is taken down before he finds himself in the open situation. And this is going to be the last fight of all the situation, where Ivy are taking a fight in different stances, where it is of course gonna be the players from the sides of 52x Rage. We talked about the comeback from the 52x Rage. This is the moment, this is the time where they can making the most, as now Rage is just raging. He certainly has no kill whatsoever. 6 kill has been registered in the team's name, but he really needs to rack up all these number kills, and really has all the opportunities. 2 players versus 3 players from the sides of Ivy Esports. This is not going to be an easy task for both the teams.
Most certainly not. This is not the play that was supposed to be made. 52x Rage, he is certainly trying right here, Zen, with the best of the best utility that he is able to use, but will that be enough to stop Ivy in their tracks? It is going to be the vehicle that will certainly be going away, but again, there's the 7th zone, and this vehicle has done its part. It has created the cover that the side of Ivy needed. On the other front, it is going to be the Grounders moving on along to take down the final player of Quraysh Esports. Thus remaining are only 3 teams. We've got 52x Rage's 2 players, where Zen and Faster know exactly the position that Ivy is in. On the other front, the Knight from the side of Grounder is going to try and get himself into the comfort of the zone and into a spot where he can get the cover of the tree as well. But 52x Rage are the ones who have reigned in supreme with the utilities as well as the information of their opponent. They know exactly where each and every individual opponent that they are to face are, and in doing so, they are going to be the ones that have the X factor in this fight. But the numbers advantage certainly going to be favoring Ivy, but Ivy seem to be pincered down because every single time they try and move or showcase a little bit of dominance against the side of 52x Rage, 52x Rage completely pincers them down, and that is what Zen is showcasing in this fight absolutely brilliantly. With 6 kills, this team is looking like the one to be able to get this chicken for themselves, because Ivy, they have just been completely pincered down and stopped in that aggressive stance that they were trying to create a few moments ago. For now, Knight also in a bit of a stalemate because he's just a one-man army, but has been able to get himself into the cover of that tree trunk against the players of 52x Rage. But will it be enough? Because once again, it seems like it will be enough, and he also knows exactly where the side of Ivy is, and he's going to be bringing in a lot of utilities against the players of Ivy. But those nade parades that he's been able to showcase have not been able to give damage at the moment.
Certainly, from 2 different directions, Ivy getting a lot of shots, a lot of grenades being used, but still they are finding themselves in the live situation as Knight is still the one player standing from the sides of Grounders, and it seems that all the 3 players still now from the sides of Ivy have played all the cards successfully well, and now they're trying to use all the smokes, and now it is going to be time where Faster can really make a big dent. As soon as Ivy's player make a move and inch towards where they have actually deployed the smoke, it is going to be just the smoke that can really take the cover of it, rather than it is going to be the Knight also from the sides that will be taken on for sure. And now it is going to be a 2v3 affair for the sides of Ivy, and they now know that Ivy, if they have to shine, they have to just get up, at least get one more knock in the favor. And yes, it is the one knock, second knock, there we go. Ivy, it is their chicken.
What a perfect chicken dinner coming in from the team. I mean, this team was looking pincered down from all the areas, but they still stood their ground and certainly maintained that perfect aggressive stance that they had created for themselves. And in doing so, they have been able to move up the ladder as well, as they are on the 8th spot on the overall ranking. 22 points in total, 7 kills is what Ivy Esports' chicken dinner is going to look like right now in the first game of Erangel. A perfect synergistic approach is what was showcased from Ivy Esports, and that has resulted in this team moving on to, like I said, the 8th spot of the overall ranking. A GG play being showcased once again. It was looking like 52x Rage might be the ones who might reign in supreme because of the positioning that they found themselves, and they were absolutely pincering down the positions from Ivy, but the numbers advantage worked in Ivy's favor, and of course overall the fight that they took resulted in them getting that chicken dinner with the 7 kill. So now it is going to be a course for 52x Rage, because yes, that team in the group stages did play really well, but now they have on the final day showcased some resilience to the lobby and of course walked away with a lot of points for themselves as well. With that, we have the MVP coming in onto our screens from the side of UNB, and this dude Ferno, we did see Ferro quite many times onto the screen itself, where he was just bringing in a lot of kills for the team. 6 kills is what the dude walked away with, along with that 1 assist, 755 damage.
I mean, yeah, UNB pretty much strong at the way they took the fight. And talk about Ferro's performance. I mean, 6 kill, 755 damage, survival time is also a decent one with just 1 assist. Healing done is also the one thing that will be really looking good in terms of what the players were taking for sure. But it seems that now UNB are slowly and steadily making a move on to that top 5 and top 6 of the chart with the help of the performance with which Ferro is coming up. It is certainly looking possible with UNB and other mates also. But talking about the top players itself, we have Grounders Knight. Now he was the one player alive that really showed the survivability skills with a total surviving time of 24 minutes 23 seconds, and along with that 6 kill 520 damage. So certainly the damage is not going into the favor, but it all comes down to what sort of points you bring with the kills.
Absolutely, and along with that, as we move the journey along, the math summary showcasing 52x Rage's players then right there with the highest utilities as well as the highest damage that he was able to dish out. But the Grounders Knight, of course, with the MVP, and Ferro with the longest distance kill coming in, along with his teammate Ghost with maximum assist. So an amazing outing for all of these teams. On the other front, talk about Well, I8, they did not have a decent outing this time around. They did get a decent amount of kills and placement points, I believe. We shall see what the case was for them, because they were just stuck making those rotations from the military base to the main island, then to the military base, and then to the main island. And of course, that is when they were caught off against that rotation. With that, moving on to the match ranking, we have Ivy walking away with the chicken dinner, a 7-kill chicken dinner, 22 points in total for this team. The Grounders on the second spot with 8 kills. And of course the 10 placement points, thus giving them 18. Exactly the same is the case for 52X Rage.
Quraysh also, I mean, their story has been an interesting one. From yesterday's game we played itself, we remember the game of Erangel, where they made that important push against certain teams. It was Team Star, if I'm not wrong. They have been really having a very good run. In this game itself, 15 total points. I mean, they are really getting a huge chunk of point in terms of kill department and also the placement points, and thus resulting themselves getting a huge amount of points and from the last days itself, and the day continues to today itself. But certainly not a performance we expected to have from the sides of Team Star, North Esports and Clarity Esports. Just the 1 point is what the team walked away. Portal Esports was also on the verge of making a comeback. They made a comeback in terms of just the total 5 points, but certainly they won't be happy in terms of the performance that they did make. Two teams that were on the top, Freestyles with just the 5 points, I8 with just the 2 points. It was certainly not the games for the top 3 and top 4, rather the team in the bottom half of the chart. They really made it look so possible.
Most certainly did. With that, we had so many fights that were taking place in this game. Right off the bat, we did see Star getting eliminated. It is time to move on through with the Oppo F19 Pro moments, where we will be introduced to all of those perfect sprays and controlled events that were showcased from these teams. Right off the bat, we are going to be looking at I8's first blood against them, and that was none other than Quraysh Esports bringing that onslaught.
Indeed, I mean, Quraysh Esports, we just talked about this, right? 15 total point was what they secured from this match, and that started when the match eventually just started. Right off the bat, the players started stepping up, and then it was an all-easy affair for the UNBxNF. Making a nomination is where and what the only thing that they were looking up to. And then we had North Esports going up against 52X Rage, and they were just pinned down. The elimination came in for ZARAR Esports in the meanwhile, where they were trying to take up the fight. And not only that, it was NFP Sky also that was being completely pinned down. And then these unfortunate moments where the team was just burned down to death to their own teammate. He must be really angry and furious about that situation. But then it was 52Rage Esports faster, really made it look so easy for them to get the team completely eliminated. And then we had the 52Edge Esports gameplay and game show onto the ridge hand side, and then we have some fights where IV Esports were taking them fights, but as soon as the circle made a shift, they found themselves on the edge of the circle with all the 3 players alive.
Well, with that we move on towards this moment where Destroyer from the side of Team QWERTY was eliminated thanks to the nade from the side of Knight, the grounder. But that is the case where, of course, as we move on along through the game itself, that we saw the Grounders Knight also being brought on down, and it was just a 2-player affair from 52X Rage against the 3-man army of course, Ivy, and that team walked away with 1797 damage throughout the entirety of the game. A decent outing for so many of these teams is what I would say, but for the side of Clarity, it is not going to be the case, wherein they were part of 636 damage bar, but 0 kills. They only walked away with 1 placement point this time around, so not the kind of playstyle that was anticipated from Clarity.
It was certainly a game for all the teams that are second half of the chart. Talk about Quraysh Esports, the Grounders, 52X Rage that is still on 16th position, and then we had Ivy. Certainly the teams that are still on the top 3, talk about Freestyles, Bablu, Clarity, and then we had I8. That was certainly not the game for the sure. But for the moment, it's going to be the overall ranking that we just look at the straight as a moment. Top 5, no change whatsoever, but one good game for the Grounders have really made it possible for themselves to actually trespass Portal Esports, and that has also resulted for IB Esports to make a big jump, and now they are finding themselves in the top 7 and top 8. It is going to be an easy task for them if the performance for the teams remains the same, because there's not much of point difference between them and the team standing at the 5th position, just the 9-point difference, but the performance has to be consistent one.
Absolutely, and as we move on through to the next page of this ladder, of this storyboard, we are going to see what sort of playstyle has this resulted for Quraysh. They are going to find themselves on the 10th spot with 89 points and just 2 points shy is going to be the 9th spot for Quraysh Esports, where ZARAR Esports finds themselves with 91 points. So still a lot of opportunities that Quraysh Esports is going to be able to convert for themselves, and maybe even find themselves in the top 8, because 3 games are still remaining. But on the other front, talk about 52x Rage. They did get decent points from this game. They are going to be bringing themselves closer and closer towards the side of Team Star, but of course if they bring in that sort of a consistent play, then only will they be able to topple that team of Team Star. Team Star, though, this time around were not given that opportunity whatsoever at all, as they were eliminated quite early. But of course 3 games still remain, so that means there are opportunities for these teams on the second page of the leaderboard to climb up the ladder.
Indeed, and in doing so, it is sort of a team that has really made it possible. We talk about Portal Esports that just went down. Esports are certainly on a roll.
Well, with that, 1 game taken care of, 3 more do remain. But before we do jump into the second game, that's going to be of Miramar, we're going to go on a short little break. Stick around, we're going to be right back.
Here we go now.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, it's the word on the sea, kicking up the dust, you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Here we go now.
Alright, welcome back once again. A quick break is what that was, where indeed we are on the final day of this regional finals, and in that, Pakistan region is certainly going to be dominating with all of this. Let's move on along with the show of the flow. Let's go on to our schedule, where first game has been taken care of by Ivy Esports, and as we move on towards the other side, now it is going to be the second game where Miramar is going to be on our screens, and the flight path, it seems, has already taken off. So let's dive right in and have a look at what direction has the flight path is going to be leading us towards, as well as these teams, because that is what will dictate what sort of fights can we anticipate from these teams. Again, the rotations and all of it will be based on this entirety of the flight path.
Indeed. La Coberia downtown to area of Minas del Valley. The flight path is already making its way, and the western half is gonna be jam-packed, apart from, in contrast with yesterday's gameplay, this time Impala, Puerto Palacio, La Bendita, Minas, it seemed that it is going to be unglidable sort of, also El Hazar. So certain teams love to go toward the same area, especially the area of Impala. But by the looks of it, Los Leones, since it's a big city, a big split, I mean, it's where we can get to see the teams might be jumping toward the same area, as now Portal Esports have made an early jump towards the area of Torre Humada, and slowly and steadily IB is also making a move, with Quraysh Esports making a completely northeastern jump, where they have been moving towards. It is going to be Trailer Park, where they are moving towards ZARAR onto the area of El Pozo, and it seems they might be facing the contestation against 52x Rage, as we can get to see the multicolored parachutes are in the same vicinity, with Freestyles also moving towards the area of Picado and Graveyard. It seems that it is going to be an easy jump for them, but the teams, as I mentioned just now, that love to go towards on the eastern half, the extreme eastern half, the Impala, the important city of Impala, Puerto Palacio, is where we can get to see the certain teams might follow on. Maybe we can get to see those contestation for those vehicles that are get spawned around the area of NHS. Then we might get to see certain fights. But Modified is the team that is slowly and steadily moving towards the area of Los Leones, but the circle has certainly not thrown any sort of curveball, rather has been remained on the central, shifted and tilted a bit towards the western northwestern side of the map, and it is going to be an easy task for Clarity Bablu. As soon as they will making a move, they will be jumping straight into the circle. But 52x Rage, as we just got to see, we preempted this fight to happen. Sirius has been dealt with some serious blows, with 52x Rage Murtaza just going in to finish off the player. It will be an easy task for him. An early dent, a body blow for ZARAR Esports.
What a play, what a team. 52x Rage certainly seems to be determined to get the points for themselves today. They are certainly going to be trying to get fights taken on, and with that they are also being very synergistic in terms of the approach that they're bringing with every single fight. Last game also we did see this team bring in a lot of kills. This time around also this is going to be the exact same case that they are trying, and it is Murtaza who was on the receiving front from the side of Coronas from ZARAR Esports, as he tried to retaliate. fate against the teammate that he just lost. That is going to be serious, but these teams are going to be in the close vicinity to each other, and that is going to result in a lot of fights for themselves. But we shall see if that will result in a complete knock of a team getting eliminated right now or not. For now, it is of course going to be ZARAR's Coronas who is going to be falling back from the area to try and give him and his opponent some space so that they can get their loot separated and segregated. For the side of Coronas, he's looking really good. I mean, he's got a level 3 kit, all looking absolutely perfect, but it seems the fight itself that we were anticipating is certainly not going to be happening for now, because the teams are going to be creating a little bit of distance between themselves for now. We're only 3 minutes into the game. There is a first blood situation that has worked in favor of course, 52x Rage, but will 52x Rage be pushing on to create just that one kill that they've been able to get into 4, or will they also be falling back like ZARAR? We shall see.
They have to. They certainly have to, as now the players still in that contention. We can get to see Zen with the help of Vector, but certainly the Vector is not going to be the go-to gun with the distance with which he's trying to take up the fight. The gun is certainly not that is favoring him, but the courage, I mean, the intent to take the fight is certainly there in the team itself. With Grounders finding themselves in the closer vicinity where Team QWERTY is actually positioned, it is going to be a tough task for them if you try to make a rotation. They have to be quite sure. But in the area of Lost Leonis, we can get to see I8 along with North Esports, along with a big split coming in from the side of Team Star. So we might expect some sort of squabble that can actually happen into the same areas, but complete northern side is an open entry for Quraysh Esports, and they will be making a move either from the sides of La Cobreria or from the right hand side of Craterfield. But for the moment, El Pozo, that we expected to have the city of contestation, is where we just got to see one player getting eliminated, but then the player, as Brother just mentioned, they are distancing and separating apart, and as soon as that happens, each and every team in this derby are finding themselves are on the edge of the circle with no fight happening whatsoever. On contrary to what we saw yesterday's Miramar, this is a bit of a passive start.
Well, talk about the center of the zone itself. We've got San Martin, where it is going to be the side of Grounders, and very close to their vicinity is also going to be the side of Team QWERTY. So that can very well be resulting in a fight where these two teams maybe, just maybe, might turn into a fight for themselves. But of course, for now, it is not going to be looking likely to be the case. On towards the southern front of this entire zone, we have Lost Leonis that is being taken over by I8 as well as North Esports. For now, there is a little bit of distance between them, and then there is Star also in the same proximity and vicinity. But again, it is looking like they are close to each other on this map. But as we jump on to the map area itself, it is going to be pretty tricky to spot those teams because well, it is all an urban area. There's a lot of buildings, and of course it is not going to be an easy fight, or if at all they end up taking one. And before they end up taking a fight, it's the information that I was wanting to talk about, because I8 probably don't even have that sort of an information against the players of North Esports. Right now it is turning into a slow poke game from these teams, as all of them are certainly finding themselves in a pretty decent area for themselves, and no contestations being brought on from any of these teams for now. On the front, when it comes down to a team that is outside the zone, that is only going to be the side of Clarity, who we can see are now making a rotation from the western front, southwestern front, and going to be getting themselves acclimated into the comfort of the zone.
This zone reminds me of yesterday's gameplay itself. I mean, Clarity making the same sort of rotation, but they really didn't have those sort of influential gameplay. Indeed, it was Freestyles that went away with this match with the chicken, and then it was QWERTY with that important 12 placement points. Whatever they took was certainly helping the course. For this moment, it is now San Martin, where Team Grounders finding themselves in the closer vicinity, in the proximity, where the Team QWERTY players are actually present, and this is going to be one big challenge for Grounders. Maybe you can call Grounders, maybe you can call Team QWERTY, because the 4 players are completely miles apart. 2 just in one place and 2 miles apart, and now it seems that the call has been made, and now the players slowly and steadily are making a move, and they will be finding themselves in this centralized position. We were talking about St. Martin. Here we go. The observers have listened to us, as now the Grounders are in contention with Team QWERTY, with Voltrax just trying to spot down the players. He's just waiting. He's just waiting for the rest of the player to join in the fray, and then they can just might erupt, and they can just find themselves in the formation into the fight. For the moment, Sensei is the one that is just getting all the information passed to the rest of the players into its own teammate, and there are some sort of X factor. Those extreme flank flank angles to where Zigso has created, and he can be the one surprising factor that can eventually may lead to demise of QWERTY if they don't play their cards well. But for the moment, everyone is just recuperating and just recalibrating their move, with everyone just moving here and there. It is going to be Team QWERTY that is still not settled down. They are looking up to take the fight. They're just knowing, they're just wanting to take up the fight. But as soon as the call has come, it seems that now they're trying to make a move and they are disengaging. Yep, they are.
They are disengaging for now, that is true. The Grounders, they were being very, very patient. They were hoping to take the fight, but it seems like Team QWERTY will not be giving them the opportunity for now. And San Martin is all to the side of Grounders for the moment. On the other front, talking about Team QWERTY, they are going to be getting themselves away from the area, and as they do so, they best be careful, because there are going to be teams in the vicinity as they try and get themselves acclimated to another compound altogether. Thankfully, there are no teams as we can see on the map, and it is going to be a pretty easy affair for them. On the other front, you talk about the teams that are still finding themselves towards that power grid region. We do have so many teams in contestation. We've got Modified, we've got NFPX Sky, we've now also got Clarity Esports chiming in along with UAGxTUF. So a lot of teams that are going to be in the close proximity, but for now it seems like which team is going to be taking the fight? It is going to be ZARAR against the players of 52X Rage once again.
Indeed, ZARAR just taking the fight. I mean, the fight is still on. Rage goes down. Grenades are being used. Molotovs and smokes are also being deployed just in order to blind that spot. But the fight is still on. That is going to be the case. That is the important news that is coming in from the centers. And Rage has still not gone the revival. I mean, the player needs the revival for sure. But I don't see a rest of the teammates still trying to make a push, or maybe the extreme flank angle. But still, Bonga is trying really hard to bring at least one more knock. I guess ZARAR should have played here better. I mean, that one knock was there, and since now Vaz, I see that now he's too late, because as soon as he gets close to that compound, he will be the one that the team will be the one that will be getting all four men strong. As now, as far as the things are possible, Bonga is the one that is still making it sure that gets more and more knock in his favor. Vaz still holding that angle, and Bonga is just mercilessly throwing all the 556 leads onto the face of 52X Rage, with now all the four players pinned in that small little compound. That's not a compound, that's really a warehouse. It is a big one, but ZARAR, in order to take the players down, they have to play their cards well, and all these fights are happening into the area of El Pozo straight away. It seems that 800 meter to 900 meter is what they need to travel, and as soon as they rack up more and more kills, they have to make sure that they have to also make a move into the circle. With 52X Rage, no movement whatsoever. The player just waiting for one wrong move for ZARAR to get them spotted in the open, and then the fight may erupt.
Absolutely, that could be the case. This has been stalemate, the longest stalemate that we've seen when it comes to PMCO for the Pakistan region, where this fight has certainly been part of the initial few moments of the game, and now in the late moments as well, the fight still continues on. And on the other front, when it comes down to the other teams that are going to be finding themselves in the game, in the zone, are going to also be maintaining a very quiet pace for now. We have so many teams towards the center of the zone, as we can see in the minimap, but none of them, interestingly enough, are taking a fight for now. Maybe they are just waiting for their opponents to bring in that sort of an onslaught. But we do see from the southwestern front, Team Star going to be making a rotation very close to UAG, and as they do so, will UAG retaliate? It seems not. It seems not. But we shall see if that will be turning. Yes, it will. Finally, we have another fight being taken on. It is going to be TUF who have retaliated against the rotation coming in from the side of Team Star. And a knock has been confirmed for TUF for the moment.
Indeed, knock is already there. We are still waiting for the kill confirmation to be there, because it becomes important for all these 1-1 small little points that can really be the game changer and the pace setter for all these players. But as we just got to see, they are 670 meters apart. But there we go. Kronos with the skull cracking shot has been hit onto his face, and now Murtada has gone down with Kronos with that spot-in technique. He's the one that has brought the opening knock that the team was just waiting for, with Kronos still not stopping, and now is the moment, and I guess they actually need to charge in. It seems that the players are having those vehicles on the backhand side and the back foot, but as soon as they get those knocks, it seems that this is the right time to make a move into the circle. 700 meter now getting more and more to 800 meter, because they are finding themselves in the blues for a long time. It is going to be just a matter of time where the blue zone will be taking a huge toll onto themselves, and then this is going to be the right time to make a move. Rather, I mean, you either take the fight or rather make a move into the circle. But some teams are really taking the fight in the circle. It seems that Team Stars are pinning down the players from the sides of UAG, as now Virus goes down from the sides of Tough, and this is going to be tough affair if the rival needs to be get sure, because Team Team Star have really created the flank angle with one player on the front hand side and 2-3 players just getting on the head and the tip of that important kill lock where Zyro and Loser is still positioned. It is going to be a tough challenge, but still the revival is being done. Kudos to the lad from the sides of UAG. Avenger is the one that is still on the charge. A grenade was lobbed on his face, still surviving. 60-50 HP will be converted into 70, and those painkillers and drinks will do the rest of the job.
Absolutely. For now, that is going to be absolutely what this team needs. That is going to be from the side of TUF. On the other front, it is ZARAR that are making that rotation. TUF are going to be taking that retaliation to, of course, the players of Star as they were making that rotation. But now, as we move on to the stalemate situation that this team of ZARAR had found themselves against the players of 52xRage, seems like 52xRage will be left out back in the open. Not the kind of play that was anticipated. Zen waiting for something. He seems to be waiting for something, but not entirely sure what. It is 1700 meters that needs to be crossed for him, and it seems like the dude is pretty much just stuck, or maybe the team has given up when it comes down to Zen and Cairo, the two players who are still remaining in this area, and the other two, that's going to be Murtaza and Faster. We can see them in the vehicle, but for now, it is going to be Zen who is the, well, seems like a connection issue for the dude, and he will certainly not be a part of the game. But on the other front, his teammates Zen as well as Murtaza are going to be getting themselves into the blues, and of course trying to get as far away into the circle itself as possible. And this is where it seems like there's a little bit of a trouble being created from the side of the from the connection, basically, that is of the game. But of course, as the game progresses on along, the teams are going to find themselves, hopefully they'll find themselves in the comfort of the zone. And talking about the zone comfort itself, we did see so many teams who were in the zone, and finally it is now going to be a moment where fights will start erupting, because we did see so many of those teams that were right around in the vicinity, where you also had Team Star making an attraction. We had TUF alongside TUF. We also did see a lot of interesting plays being showcased from the teams that were in the center of the zone itself, where I8 had made a mark, and alongside them they also had Modified into their vicinity. So there can be an expectation for those teams to start bringing in some kills for themselves, but will that be allowed? We're 15 minutes into the game, and things are certainly not looking good for these players, as the gameplay has certainly on this map of Miramar slowed down a little, but hoping that things will be sorted out in just a few matter of minutes. We do have the kill feed where Modified are also now taking a fight. We do have 52xRage taking on players of TUF, and Thor has certainly been pincered down along with Avenger. Not the play that was anticipated from the side of TUF, but it seems like well, 52xRage got the better half of that fight. So an interesting turn of events right there, where these dudes were able to get into the zone, and as they did so from the western front, they did find TUF, and TUF was waiting. As we had seen earlier, TUF was the team that stopped from the western front of the circle, that stopped Team Star in their tracks as they made the rotation, and now it was 52xRage who made their rotation from that exact same area and have resulted in taking the players of course, TUF.
Fortunately, all the 4 players are alive from the side. So 52xRage is now Murtaza, Cairo, Zen and Fasters are making a move into the circle. We can get to see from the western half of the circle, they are making a move, but UAG, they have really got a big dent, and now it's the time where Ivy are being completely steamrolled up. Bull goes down. KSF is the one that needs the revival. Kian needs the revival. The fight is still on. In all the situations, it is going to be all 4 players standing again from the sides of Team Clarity Bablu, and we have seen in the past the sort of dominance that Clarity brings in, especially in this game of Miramar, that is just unmatchable to its own way. Eventually, it is slowly and steadily the circle that is going down. Northeastern shift is where we are heading towards, and we can get to see UNBxSports on the southeastern side of circle, with southern sides completely been jam-packed by freestyles. It is going to be a tough entry for I8, because there are freestyle, there are QWERTY, and then there is UNBxSports.
Well, what a play this is turning against the side of I8, that's for sure. But talk about Portal Esports, they find themselves in the comfort of the compound and the circle as well. Now the other teams, as they will be making the rotation, it is going to be a tough situation, because from the south it is going to be FS as well as NES who are going to be waiting in the zone. Whatever teams tries to make that rotation from the south will certainly have to go go through them on the other tangent. In the center of the zone itself, we have QWERTY Esports' player who are going to be waiting, and from the western front, it is going to be 52xRage who have just joined into the arena of this circle as well. So we shall have to see if I8 are going to be stopped in their tracks, because as they are making that rotation, it is going to be up to FS, and we can see that FS Black is certainly going to be bringing in that little bit of onslaught against the players, and in doing so, it is going to be the team of UNB who have caught them first, and FS's players are being pinned down one by one. Malik has been brought down. It is going to be Gulibai who is now going to have to try and stop this rotation coming in from the side of UNB and take on the compound from UNB. But will FS be allowed to stay alive? No, they will not. And now it is going to be I8 also bringing themselves as a third-party arena. With FS gone, this compound is going to be fought between these two teams. Perhaps it is going to be UNB and I8. Now UNB, they did play their cards absolutely to perfection, but now against I8, what sort of a play can they bring to the table?
Indeed, it is going to be the case, as now UNB is trying to take the fight. Southern side is where completely jam-packed lobby where Graveyard is, where there is going to be certain teams. For certain team, it is going to be certainly a graveyard situation, as I8 Esports being completely pinned down for a long time, as now UNB is the one that is up on the charge against I8 Esports. Reviews is the one that is leading the charge, but they need to make sure that it is North Esports that is still finding themselves at the top of that mountain. But Blade is on a move. He is getting a lot of damage, but he needs to make sure that in order to make a move into the circle, they have to completely eliminate one team, and that is certainly going to be of UNB. And in doing so, it is going to be Blade that's still making a move. Uzium with that grenade. If this grenade lands perfectly into the lap of UNB, it can be their demise, but certainly their demise is there, but with some other different strategies, as now all the four players are charging in. Reviews with the fall drop shots, take one knock, one more goes down, and the M249 action from the sides of Crypto doesn't stop. Beat the game of Erangel, beat the game of Miramar. Sanhok it is. I mean, this time it's going to be the Erangel where Miramar, where things are really completely down south, where Uzium with that one kill. Crypto, he's still knocked. It seems that now QWERTY is making a big blow onto the face, and this is a long range fight where both are finding themselves in the closer proximity, and sadly the zone has shifted and tilted away from all these teams, has gone towards the same area where from the eastern side the team can try to dominate. Quraysh Esports coming in from northern side, they still don't have any kill whatsoever, but they are really looking to trying to take up the fight. But one challenge is up to them, and that is obviously going to be of the Grounders, and later it is going to be of NFP Sky Esports.
Well, seems like I8 is in. It is looking like I8 is going to be dominating. They've got 9 kills confirmed for themselves already. On the other front, talk about Quraysh Esports. This team is also trying their level best to work and get the kills confirmed for themselves. It is going to be the Grounders Knight who will be caught and will be certainly sent back, because this is when it is going to be... No, the play zone will be able to get Knight, and the kill will not be given to Quraysh, not the play that was anticipated from them. And in the reason of taking that fight, it is looking like this team is going to be, well, caught against the blue zone. It is their teammate Adi who will be lost to the cause, and of course when it comes down to Mani, he will also not be given that revival, because the main priority for the team right now is going to be to get into the zone. And Portal Esports, before Mani goes down through the play zone, will be stealing that kill away, and it is going to be 52xRage who were trying, well, just got lucky, but not for long, because Sky will get the better half.
Indeed, NFP Sky really trying to steamroll the players and looking pretty decent at this moment, but it seemed that they were also find themselves at this elimination spot as they left the lobby with a large number of points. Still it is going to be 8, as now 6 kill is what they were able to secure thanks to the onslaught that's coming in from sides of Team QWERTY, and they really made it happen with Pika taking a lot of kill. It is now the time where Portal Esports is trying to dominate from the sides of Quraysh Esports. Bilal is the one that is going to be the next target, and Nocto is making pay everyone else who is trying to make a move into the zone, as now Bilal is being pinned down. Quraysh Esports completely on the verge of getting eliminated. It's just the one player still surviving from their side, and it's just a matter of time where the blue zone will also be taking a toll onto them, and Portal Esports Nocto is already positioned to make it worse for them.
Absolutely, Portal Esports looking really good. I mean, this is the team that was able to pin sit down with the nade parade against the players of I8 and send them back into the lobby, and now as they push on along, they're going to take on a fight against the players of Quraysh, where Quraysh did not have any chance of survival because Portal Esports were just absolutely dominating. I mean, as the zone moved on, it was this team who were looking alive and were looking kicking, because they had the compound in their favor, they had the circle working in their favor, and now they find themselves at 5 kills with all 4 players alive, 5 teams remaining in this lobby.
Indeed, just the 5 teams, and in that is going to be all 4 players alive from the sides of Portal Esports, with Clarity Bablu also making a move. It is going to be a tough challenge for QWERTY also, because a lot of teams are still surviving on the 4 players alive. With Zameen going down, Voltrux is also on a roll as his Grenadier title doesn't stop for a long time. Portal Esports is going to be a big task. We can get to see the 2 players are already made a move onto the northern edge of the circles, and Nocto is already there to punish down Shaptar from the sides of Team Grounder. Zigsaw is the one player standing and alive from his side, but for how long? That is going to be the question of the hour. As soon as he's been spotted on, before he takes him down, it is going to be Zigsaw that will bring the important knock, as Nocto was making it really tough for the team, for any team to make a move for the last 5 minutes. They eliminated the sides for a long time, and now it's going to be Zigsaw that needs to get the revival done. But Portal Esports, they know where the exactly 2 players are aligned. It is just a moment of time where if Grenade or Molotov are being hurled onto the face of it, that might be the device of themselves.
What a play, what a spray. Insane performance coming in from Insane right there, where he was able to absolutely stop the Grounders player given that revival. What an amazing turn of events this has turned out to be through the smoke, where Insane is absolutely pincering down the players, and with his teammates will be able to bring that team down. The Grounders will not be able to move away from that position. We have got 4 teams remaining. Portal Esports looking absolutely dominating. We of course do have all the 4 players from all the 4 teams. That means we have 16 alive players on this small little area, the 6th zone, where now the teams are bringing in a lot of destruction. Portal Esports is Insane is onto a kill frenzy, because his team has combined effort converted 9 kills for themselves. An amazing turn of events. Team QWERTY also timing it along with 5 to 6 kills for themselves now. And as Khan goes down, as he gave the information away, North Esports' final player Daku is going to be retaliating and revolting to his teammate being sent back and knocked, and now it is going to be up to him if he will be able to take the kill all by himself or not, because he is against the 3-man squad of Team QWERTY.
Wolverine just trying to get all the first aids on for himself, and now he's using the Molotovs. But before the Molotov comes in, it is going to be the smoke that actually baited him, and Daku is burning. But before he burns alive, it will be that 556 lead that will be put in his chest, and he will find himself 6 feet down under the ground. As now we are jumping into the last half of the match, where 3 teams are still alive, 11 players are still in contention, with Clarity Bablu going down. 420 boy needs the revival. There is a big thick smoke cloud where the players are positioning at this moment, with Baby still in the move. It is going to be Team QWERTY with all the 3 players 4 alive in this situation. It's going to be a tough challenge for them to survive the situation. Destroy, he needs to be destroyed for sure, as now Portal Esports Baby is going to be the one that will be making a big dent onto the face, with Wolf is still out there. I mean, the quickness with which all the 4 players are again back onto the field, this is one commendable fight. This is one commendable approach that we need to talk about. But certainly the circle has shifted away from all these teams, but still one team that we get to see in the maroon marker, that is going to be of Team QWERTY, with 2 players on the edge of the circle. 2-1 split is where Team QWERTY is playing. We have to just wait and still see what sort of dominance they can actually bring, and 420 boy, his M249 can actually make it the destructive play for the rest of the lobby.
Well, what a play this is turning out to be. Of course, we do have Team QWERTY right there with the 3-man strong. We have Clarity trying to dominate against these teams, but in all of that, Portal Esports is still not yet done. In this small area also, they are making rotations with those vehicles, but as they do so, it seems like Nocto will be knocked, as the vehicle will be blown to Shimmerines, and on the other front, it is finally Clarity Esports that are bringing in that reigning supreme lead for themselves, and in that they have been able to completely pincer down the players of Portal Esports. 2 teams remaining. We've got Team QWERTY up against the players of Clarity Esports, and Clarity Esports are going to be the ones who will try and reign in supreme, with the numbers advantage certainly working in their favor. But of course, it is going to be a perfectly set up spray coming in from the side of Destroyer that is going to be resulting in the side of Clarity almost down to their knees, and exactly talking about down to the knees, 420 boy will be going down. Destroyer along with his teammate Wolverine are the 2-man army who are absolutely pincering down the positioning of Clarity Esports, wherein it is a 4-man strong team of Clarity who are now reigning in supreme, and certainly will be getting the chicken dinner for themselves. A perfect spray, a perfect play, a perfect spray that has resulted in the team of Clarity Esports walking away with their chicken dinner. 26 points to this team. Will be walking away with 11 kills, 1,476 damage overall on the 3rd ranking.
a well-awaited, a very long-awaited chicken dinner for Clarity Esports, and now they have getting it sure and making a move on to the third total placement. A total of 26 points is what they're standing. It was a high-flying game itself was for there with total of 11 kills, 1476 damage was what they were able to secure for Clarity Esports, and what a game for Clarity Esports. But also for teams like Team QWERTY itself, and last day itself, I mean, they played the game of Miramar, it was Voltrux. This time it was Wolverine and Destroyer that was just trying to smack the lobby, but then it was numbers advantage that certainly favored Clarity Esports.
With that, let's move on to the MVP coming in from this game, and that's going to be Wolverine from the side of Team QWERTY. 3 kills, 3 assists, 961 damage dished out. An amazing play in the almost 25 minute survival time from this game. Amazing play from the entirety of the team is what I would say. Wolverine, they were looking really good. So was Portal Esports. And again, when it comes down to the top players list, I will not be surprised if Portal Esports' players will find themselves over there. Yep, they will. Nocto is right there on the third, along with i8's Crypto on the second position of this top players list with 5 kills, 519 damage.
Indeed, I mean, Portal Esports Nocto, I mean, whatever sort of performance he does every time, it's him along with Mom2, Nocto and the rest of the players itself that really make it happen for themselves. This time indeed, it was him making a big damage onto the face of the other player. Clarity 425 was also the guy that really had a huge amount of kill that racked up, and this time we have the match summary in front of our TV screen with Crypto with having the highest kill. Before the match, I guess it was 35 or 36 sort of total number that he was able to secure in just this, I mean, it was 39 I guess before this match even started, and adding 5 more to it, this is a real game changer. We talked about will he be able to get towards the half-century markup. I mean, since i8 did falter down in the early stage of the game, but one thing is for constant, that Crypto will be taking a huge amount of kill, whatever be the performance for the whole of the team.
That is true. That is so very true. Of course, there is nothing stopping that team from taking that sort of a play and onslaught, because right here we can see 9 kills is what this team had.
Wow.
Just 1 placement point, but 9 kills. So GG play certainly for i8 once again. On the other front, talking about Clarity Esports, they've gotten their chicken dinner. They are going to be looking pretty happy now, and with that 26 points to this team, along with which we did have Team QWERTY as well as Portal Esports bring in some really amazing plays from both of their sides, and that is going to result in Portal Esports certainly climbing up the ladder, that's for sure as well.
It was just the circle that shifted and tilted away for i8 Esports. Otherwise, they could have made the same sort of match that we got to see, the 22 kill chicken in the game of Miramar, if you remember from the day 2 regional finals itself. That could have been emulated for certain, but this time the PUBG god said that, I mean, you have taken enough of kill, now you have some curveballs to deal with, and in that still i8 Esports, I mean, they were really dominating in fashion. And then we get to see AV Esports, ZARAR Esports with 1 kill each, with AV taking that thing away. I mean, this was one bad performance. Talk about them getting 7 kill chicken in the last match of Erangel and faltering down with nothing taking away. This is just unacceptable from their side, because you need to take at least something. These are the last few moments, the last few matches, and at the end of the day, the last 2 matches will be still left for the day to make a move on to them.
Absolutely. With that, let's combine all the efforts that was showcased from these scenes, and let's move on through with the Oppo F9 Pro moments.
And indeed, right off the go, we get to see the fight started happening into the area of Picardo, where we got to see that Graveyard was the area where a lot of players did find themselves in the coffin, and then where we got to see NFP players were trying to run down the players from the sides of 52x Rage Murtaza. It was not a demise for them, rather it was NFP Sky's demise. Portal Esports Nocto, as we got to see him into the top player list, and this was the reason, because he just pulled down the entire squad down from the sides of Quraysh, and then it was the time for the Grounders, but Grounders were just really ready. Jigsaw did that 1v1 affair with surviving on 1 HP, and then it was the rest of the players coming in from the sides of Portal. Then we went down towards the last half of this fight where Nocto was completely pulled down when they were trying to make a move into the circle. Team QWERTY was just ready.
That was an interesting play from Portal Esports. I mean, in that small little area, using those vehicles to get that rotation made, it was a little comical, but of course that was the reason where Clarity certainly chimed in and so showcased to Portal Esports, hey mate, that's not how you do it. And of course what they did do is pincer them down and certainly send them back into the lobby. With that, we've got some high skyscrapers being created right here from the side of Team QWERTY as well as Portal Esports. 2,158 damage dealt from the side of Team QWERTY. And on the other front, from Portal Esports, 2,055. Amazing play But in all of this, as we move on along, all the teams were part of fights one way or the other. As we can see, the damage was brought in from pretty much all of them.
Portal Esports, day 3 and day 4, they are completely looking a different team. 2000 damage on a constant basis, be it with the game of Erangel, Miramar or Sanhok. This is certainly one good tournament that they are really looking up to, and that has certainly resulted themselves finding from 13 to 11 to 8 and now in the top 5. 1-1-1. They are standing at the Nelson with 1 chicken, 60 total placement points, 51 kills. Certainly the team to look out for. There's still 2 matches left and they are certainly in contention for the 4th spot. Eventually, we didn't expect this fight to go down this strong, this close, but certainly Freestyle's position is now looking so much susceptible.
It most certainly is. As we move on to the second page, we do have a few more changes right here, where North Esports are also chiming in and bringing in a bit of a change for themselves. Team Sky find themselves on that 12th spot with 83 points. So still, the points are going to be very, very close for these teams from the 9th to the 14th. Pretty much, and that is going to be resulting in a few of them moving up and down with every single game that will be showcased. With that, we've got 2 games done, 2 more games still remain for the day, the 2 final games for the regional finals, and in that it is going to be I8 who are reigning in supreme with the gameplay and playstyle that they are making. Of course, that team is, from the looks of it, already walking towards the PMPL Season 4 slot. But once again, like I said, 2 games are remaining. We do need to find out where Clarity Esports will be. They have finally gotten that chicken dinner, but will that be it? Or will they be moving up to the 2nd spot against Team QWERTY? We shall find out. But before we can do any of that, before we can jump into the map of Sanhok itself, it is going to be a conversation for the 2nd page of the leaderboard. Because when it comes to the 2nd page is so close. The 2nd page, teams are so close because of the points that they've been able to accumulate, and just 1 or 2 points is going to be making a big difference in terms of how much money are you going to be walking away with. So that is also going to be a very important thing to keep an eye out towards.
Indeed, I mean, that's going to be the case, as we just got to see a lot of teams finding themselves into contention on the second half of the chart. And certain teams are really looking to make it big. Talk about 52x rate. I mean, today they have been really racking up a lot of kills, a lot of placement points itself. But somewhere down the line, they have been losing a lot of players indeed itself in the fight that they were trying to take up. And also teams like IB Esports, I mean, the team really got the chicken in this first game itself and taking nothing away. Again, finding and slipping from 8th position to that second half of the chart. But certainly, I mean, Portal Esports have been on a rise.
They most certainly are on a rise, and they will certainly be moving on to take on that glorious 4. Well, we shall see. We shall see. I do not really know if they will be moving up all the way through or not, because there is a little bit of that point difference from that first. Yes, the first position is a completely different ball game, but the 2nd and 3rd position have also created a massive lead for themselves. So let's see how high will Portal Esports be able to climb. But with that, it is time for us to go on a short little break before we jump in with game number 3.
Here we go now.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Welcome back once again to PUBG Mobile Club Open. This is, of course, the Pakistan region where we're at. A huge thanks to Oppo F9 Pro. We've got 2 games done. 2 more games are remaining. Let's bring on to the schedule where we will see the 2 games that have already taken place. Which side was it? It was Ivy who moved on to take that first chicken dinner. Second one was, of course, QWERTY Esports. And now on the... Oh, Sanhok. Oh, Sanhok. This is going to be an aggressive one. This is, I mean, I can already feel it. This is going to be an aggressive one. Let's jump into the flight path itself and find out where are the teams going to be moving on along. And it is a quick flight path where the teams have already started to jump and take on their perfectly segregated spots. It is going to be Team Star once again going on towards the cow that we have seen again and again. On the other tangent, when it comes down to the side of TG, they will be spreading themselves on towards the Camp Alpha Island, and absolutely, I mean, when I say spreading, they will be completely segregating and spreading themselves. That's what they do pretty much every single time towards those rocks and ridges.
I want to fight at boot camp. I really want to fight at boot camp. By the looks of it, it doesn't seem that we might be seeing any sort of fight, as now nobody is there in the area of boot camp apart from the team itself, from the sides of Team QWERTY. But rather, it is going to be NFP finding themselves in a complete split downtown towards the area of Paradise Resort till the area of Pan. We can see a 4-man split coming in from the sides of NFP Sky, and then we have Ivy on the western side of Paradise Resort, and then we have North Esports guarding those shoreline areas of Camp Alpha. A complete big split coming in also from the sides of Team Grounders, and then we have the cave area. Certainly I8 dominates there. Modified is already into the contestation, as we got to see Team Sky Khatir finding himself in a closer vicinity of Paradise Resort. It can be sort of contestation where we might get to see Khatir going down. He has already dealt a lot of damage onto his face. Rage Gen is going to be the one that will be trying to take up the fight.
Well, what a play. What a play this is turning out to be right off the bat in the first few minutes of the game itself. It is going to be Team Sky who are going to be pincered down thanks to 52x Rage's play right here. And 52x, again, as Ankit was mentioning as well, 52x Rage is a completely different team altogether today, with the way that they are showcasing their synergistic plays on the final day of the regional finals. This is absolute onslaught to the face of Team Sky, and it is going to be Murtaza as well as his teammates Zen who are going to be bringing in that first blood. Combined effort from them both, but as they do so, Team Sky's players are going to try and retaliate as well. And as of now, it is going to be, of course, Murtaza who is going to have to get either the bandage or maybe even the first aid if he can find his hands on it. That is because for now he is looking at just a sliver of an HP pretty much, but he does not have any first aid or band-aid to get himself set up right. He's found some bandages, so that's going to be okay, but it is going to be also Team Sky. We shall have to see if Team Sky is going to stick around in the area, or are they going to be bringing in another kill.
Modified has already taken 3 players down from the sides of I8. Crypto has gone down, Uzian has been completely finished, and we are off to a roller coaster start. Crypto has also been finished off. Certainly the first game not went in the favor in terms of the placement points. 9 kill was what I8 was able to secure in the game itself. This time it is going to be Modified challenging upon to the players of I8. Blade and Reviews on the backhand side, and Modified, Babbar and Amish. Look at the way the fight is actually panning out. Blade is another one, he goes down. Amish is on a charge. Is it going to be a complete squad wipeout coming in from the side of Modified? Right off the go, 3 minutes 18 seconds on the clock. Reviews is going to be the one. He is really facing the heat, as now slowly and steadily all the 4 players are converging from 3-4 different directions. Reviews not looking good. Not looking good. Blade will be finished off, and before that happens, Reviews is really trying hard. He's really trying hard with the Valiant effect coming in. He's using the Uzi. Lil Uzi comes in, and before he reloads it, it is going to be a complete squad wipeout. Who on earth would have imagined I8 Esports in the 3rd game of regional finals, still there at the top, would go down by a team that is still not in the top 8 of the half?
I know who would. Modified would, mate. Modified would. Modified knew exactly what they were up to, and just completely, as soon as they saw it was I8, they were like, all right, mates, we've got ourselves a mission. This team needs to be sent back, because this team just, whenever they play, they steal away the kills from the entirety of the lobby, and that is something that Modified, well, they modified and have certainly helped through the entirety of the lobby. But now we shall have to see if I8 has been lost to the cause in the first 4 minutes of the game. Which other team will be taken on that spot? It is going to be Team QWERTY that you might think about, but it is UNB who is going to be pinstering them down as well. So an interesting story that is being created right here on the map of Sanhok, where these teams are just bringing down the behemoths in this lobby, and in doing so, it is going to be I8 who have been eliminated on the 16th spot, and now it is going to be Team QWERTY who's going to be, well, onto a bit of a receiving front, but not before they retaliate, because Wolverine will be able to pincer down the players of UNB, and it is none other than Deadshot who has been caught in that moment. But of course his teammates are right there to give him that revival, so no problem whatsoever at all. And as the game progresses on, we shall have to see if UNB will even be allowed to enter the compound. For now, they're just trying to find an opening.
They certainly are, and it will be a great move and a way to make a push onto the players of Team QWERTY without making a knock. I guess no team would love to make a push, because this is so strong that at least you need to take one away, and then it will be a good way to take up the fight. But they need to make sure, because they really don't want to spend a lot of time. We've still not seen the circle. Would love to see where the circle has actually formed, and then we might get to see what sort of strategies the team can pounce upon with QWERTY. On a charge, Destroyer is just moving here and there, and Khan eventually has gone down. The drop is already there. Voltrux creating that flank angle. That means Team QWERTY must be knowing that there is some team trying to engulf the complete squad, and Voltrux, the way he's trying to move himself towards the players of UNB, taking the cover of these big little rocks. It seems that the team from the sides of QWERTY and also Voltrux exactly know that there is one team that is just trying to outsmart them, and in doing so, it is going to be Voltrux with that extreme flank angle, can actually surprise the player at any point.
He certainly knows exactly what he needs to do when it comes down to the play that he's able to make. It is going to be him trying to stop the rotation that has been created from the side of that team, but of course UNB will not be able to do so. On the other front, it is going to be Ivy's player, KSF, who has been able to absolutely, with a laser focus, bring that down. But in the kill feed, we can see Voltrux was able to stop UNB's rotation in the track, and in doing so has been able to give a knock to the player. NES taking on the players of the grounders. This is turning into a chaotic Sanhok, and we do know that there are third parties, but the third parties in this game are turning up quite a lot, because the numbers that are going on are absolutely ridiculous, because the way that these teams are making this, it is going to be a ferocious looking game, because every single moment that we are spending in this game, look at the kill feed, it just is dancing, because there are so many kills that are taking place across the board from the side of NES, from the side of Team QWERTY, from the side of 52x Rage now chiming in against the players of Team Sky. Absolute chaos and devilish destruction is being showcased against their opponents in this entire team, in this entire game.
Indeed, I mean, Dr. Fate also going down. Faddy and Akpool is still standing. KSF has gone down, and this fight is just not stopping now. Rage, 52 Rage. Murtaza is trying to take the fight against NFP. Skies everybody talk about beat Benny's situation. Now, Modified Hamad goes down, as also Northeast Sports is finding themselves in a contention with everywhere we are getting to see a haywire situation. We just cannot see what to expect from where we can get to see. Any team can get eliminated at any point. Fights are just happening on and on and on. Talk about any front of map, talk about north, south, east, west, left or right. We are getting to see complete decimation for any team. Anyone just who is spotting their opponent, they're just not holding, rather they're trying to give the push, and in doing so, it is going to be Team Sky that has been completely eliminated at 15 spot, thus leaving 14 teams still on the lobby. Quraysh Esports is also on the move, as now they're trying to pin down the player from the sides of Modified. A big challenge, as now Modified, just a moment ago we saw they have eliminated a big team known by the name I8, and they are certainly high on confidence. But Quraysh Esports, this is also a team that is really hard to fight upon.
Well, that is so true, and they have showcased a different sort of a playstyle from themselves. And again, when it comes down to the kill department, for now, Quraysh Esports have not opened that bank yet, but they most certainly are going to in the next few minutes, because Modified is in the vicinity, and Modified are trying to take on a fight for themselves, as well as they have gotten one of their players knocked. It is going to be Mani from the side of Quraysh Esports, who is going to be bringing that knock and might just be able to convert that into a kill. On the other front, it is not looking easy for Modified, because another player has been brought down to their knees. It is going to be Quraysh Esports' domination that is resulting in Modified's destruction for now, where it is going to be Amish as Bullet, who are now left with nothing. They are left with nothing at all. Amish, the man who is going to have to, well, try and keep surviving for as long as he possibly can for his side, because the team is going to need a few of those placement points. But will Modified be working towards that? It seems like Amish will be working exactly towards that. It is going to be the side of Quraysh Esports who will be walking away with 3 kills, and that will pretty much be it, because Amish is going to be running away, and as he does so, he will be still maintaining, or rather trying to maintain the well, I think I spoke too soon, because Quraysh Esports, they are on the run. They are on the hunt. They are not going to be allowing Modify's player Amish to try and survive all those placement points. Look at the flank that the side of Quraysh Esports are creating, and absolutely going to be creating this line that is going to be defense thing. That's going to be destroying the final player of Modified, and Amish, being none the wiser, has no opportunity to look on to being able to walk away from this situation, as the team of Quraysh Esports is upon him and they are just trying to nail him down. They've not yet been able to spot him, but it's only a matter of time before they will. It is going to be, of course, Amish, who tried to take on a fight, but as soon as he did, Bilal had seen him and will be confirming another kill for himself. 3 kills to the dude.
Indeed. Defenseless Amish just went down, Modified, completely eliminated, and it was a charge coming in from the sides of Quraysh Esports, resulting them a huge amount of 0.4 is what they're standing at this moment, and we can get to see already the destruction is on its way. As soon as the fight we just got done with, it seemed that now ZARAR Esports are also charging up onto the players of North Esports. Ghosta, Daku and Snow is already there, and since ZARAR Esports Serious will be getting an opportunity to get the loots acclimated for themselves, thanks to the onslaught that is coming in from their side, it is going to be them finding themselves from sides of North Esports in the open. Snow goes down. All of a sudden, the tide is also turning and changing for the sides of North Esports, and they need all these points in order to getting those important money in their bag. But in doing so, it seems that ZARAR Esports are going to be the one big team that will be just restricting them in getting their future bright. But for the moment, it's still Serious that is still finding himself into the plane position, and it seems that Snow's revival will be an impossible task. If they have to do so, they have to rather take some different alternative route, go to that downward ridge, and that's where Daku is getting themselves up to. And now Snow will be getting the revival with Ghosta onto the front hand side, will be making sure that no other player from the side of ZARAR Esports will be making a charge in. And since they are still in the circle, they can still extend the fight for a more long time.
They most certainly can try. That is what their intention is going to be for now, because after all, it's only the 11.5-minute marker that we find this game at. But it is 13 teams down is what these teams have been showcasing. The entire lobby has been showcasing, because the teams are just going up against each other as soon as they are able to spot. Of course, on the front of our screens now, we do have ZARAR Esports trying to take on the players of NES. And when it comes to North Esports, now this is a team that is going to be absolutely... Whoa, Coronas, that was just cooked a bit too much to the face itself, mate. And as he did, it certainly resulted in himself going down to his own nade pretty much. I mean, that resulted in him getting almost 80 to 85% of damage, and then after that it was just a little bit of bullet that was of course going to be resulting in him going down from the side of NES. And Ghosta right here has the information, and it is going to be his teammate bringing in that perfect molly to get those players taken care of on the other front. Now Ghosta, he has to go ahead and try and be a tank for his teammate, because it is going to be the flank coming in from the side of ZARAR that could very well stop them in this entire onslaught.
The players are still under contention, as now Freestyles is also getting a lot of kill. Not in the number, but they are falling down slowly and steadily, as now UNB are making a push, and all these fights are still happening onto that main island, the Camp Alpha Island, onto that shoreline side, where it is going to be the grounders that is slowly and steadily moving away, rather not finding themselves into the fight. It's going to be ZARAR Esports again, 4th player on the charge, and this is going to be a tough task. Bonga will be making sure that he will be taking care of the players, as now Ghosta will be falling short of, as now ZARAR Esports Bonga along with Serious and along with Cronus will be making and hunting down the player, as we just got to see a moment ago how Quraysh Esports was hunting down the players from the opponent side, and it is going to be a tough task for them to survive in this vicinity. Bonga from the different extreme angle has spotted on Ghosta again, and it is going to be a sad demise for UNB, as now it is looking like unstoppable for Quraysh Esports to stop at this moment. Ghost has been spotted on, but Serious has been dealt with a serious blow. But before that happened, it is going to be Cronus from the backhand side will be taking care of Ghosta. But all of a sudden, Quraysh Esports, after eliminating one big team, now they are having their eyes set upon Clarity Esports. Wolf goes down. Quraysh Esports are on a run. Quraysh Esports are certainly on a run, as now Bilal is making sure that he won't be sparing any moment to take him down. As 425 is in the front position, but before he gets up, it will be Quraysh Esports. All of a sudden, the tide has turned, and it is going to be the last player surviving. Pika is the one. Will he be able to make a move into the situation? So 1-1 fight where Adi with that extreme flank angle has making sure that he will be taken care of, and some SMG's action continues. Eventually, not only the game of Miramar, but Sanhok also What a fight, what a fight. Extreme fight for the sides of Quraysh Esports. 11 kill is with what they are standing at this moment. 3 for Adi, and the rest of the player from their side have gotten a huge chunk of total 11 kills. And all of a sudden, this team is just looking unstoppable at this moment. They have taken certain teams down, certain players down, and a big dent because QWERTY Esports is out of the lobby.
Well, what a play being showcased from the side of Quraysh Esports. Indeed, on the final day, this team is trying to work towards getting as much of the X factor that they can create for themselves, and in doing so, they have been able to absolutely dominate against those behemoths in the lobby. It was, of course, QWERTY Esports that they just took down, along with which when came down to the earlier fight that they took against the players of I8. That also resulted in Quraysh getting the better half of the fight. Amazing play being showcased from this team, and they are still not yet done. 15 minutes in, we've got 10 teams remaining. Third zone is where these teams are going to be finding themselves in, and of course in just a few more minutes the zone is going to be moving on to the fourth, and that is where things are going to be, of course, forced to go on, and that is when the players are going to be forced on to take that much more of fight. And right there we see the shift. The zone is going to be favouring Quraysh Esports from the southern side, that's for sure. But from the western front, it is going to be ZARAR Esports that will bring themselves into the zone. And as they do so, it could be a little bit of a tricky affair for Quraysh Esports. But we shall see what sort of a case will that be creating. But in all of this, we still do have Team QWERTY part of this picture, with all 3 players still surviving. Khan was lost earlier in the game itself, so we do have 3 players from the side of QWERTY. Wolverine, Voltrix, as well as Destroyer are at the edge of the zone, and very close to them is going to be a rotation being brought on from the side of Portal PES.
Indeed, Portal Esports making a move, and now it seems that they might find themselves in a contention with QWERTY pretty much close in the same vicinity. It is going to be just the A of Paradise and the P of Paradise, where both the teams are fighting themselves pretty much in the close vicinity. And as soon as they have heard all these footsteps coming in slowly and steadily, Voltrix knows exactly where Portal Esports are coming from, and he's just waiting for one wrong mistake, and then he will be taken down for sure. But before that happens, it is going to be Team Star. Zingod 111. He is taking a lot of damage onto the players of UAGxTUF. UAGxTUF really had a very good day today itself in the last 2 games. They really took the game in their hand, and now they are in the commanding position against both the teams are making the parallel rotations from the area of Tatmok, and it seems that one team will surely go down, as seems that no team, no player are just trying to disengage. Rather, they are trying to take up the fight, but they have to make sure that as soon as the circle will make a shift, it is going to be another team. This time it is going to be 52 Rage Murtaza from a different directions making a move onto the players of UAG, and this is the third party that we talk about in the game of Sanhok.
Absolutely, there will be third parties. That has always been the case on Sanhok, and this is the moment where those third parties are going to be brought on, because it's the fourth zone and there aren't a lot many areas, especially on Sanhok, that these teams are going to find the cover against. And this is going to be TUF Thor bringing in the annihilation against the players of Star, and it is going to be absolute chaos and pandemonium that has been created for Star, because it is just Jin God who is now going to have to get his team revived. When it comes down to Zyro, he is also going to have that flank angle set up from his team, but will that be allowed? Because on the other front, it is going to be third party, because 52x Rage brings in that aggression against the players of TUF. So an interesting play once again, where third party is what has stopped this fight. Otherwise, it seemed like Team Star could have been sent back from this aggression, but of course the kill was not confirmed. Thus all 4 players will be able to move on along and get themselves separated and segregated. In terms of course, all the first aids and the bandages that they need. On the other front, talk about Portal Esports. This team is so very close to the positioning of 52x Rage, and as they try and take on this fight, it is going to be Momtu who will be able to dominate. An amazing turn of events where Murtaza has been brought down to his knees, and now Momtu, not only is he going to be able to take the fight against the players of Murtaza, against the teammates of Murtaza, he's going to have the comfort of knowing that his teammate Insane is also going to be helping him from the back. And of course, in the kill feed, or rather sorry, in the minimap, we can see that there is a little bit of a flank angle being created from their teammates, and that is going to be our baby. And this is the way Portal Esports try and dominate. They just move on along to get the zone, but now it seems like they're going to be falling back, because it is the comfort of the zone that they want more than the kill at this moment.
Murtaza needs a desperate revival. We can get to see as slowly and steadily he's the knocked one, and he's moving towards from where the zone will be first approaching towards, as now his teammate, it seemed that Zen had given him that extreme advice that yes, come to me, else you won't be getting the revival done. But for the moment, it's the team from the sides of 52 Rage still pinning down the players of Team Star, and now they need to make a move into the zone. This is not going to be an easy task, as now Star Gold is finding himself into the same position where he was taking the peak earlier, but a big blow has been made to the face of it, and he won't now do that same mistake again to peek from the same different direction, else this time it is going to be a complete knock. That's what I expect from the sides of Team 52 Rage, because all the three players have their crosses set upon them in different directions, but from different direction it is going to be 52 Rage that has to take the fight, and in that is the fast reflexes with which Ivy is going down slowly and steadily with Quraysh coming into the fight. Money is the one that has really taken the fight against Team Grounders, and Knight all of a sudden goes down thanks to that onslaught that's coming in from the sides of the Grounders. Team QWERTY on a roll, were on roll until and unless now the blue zone is taking care of it, and now Grounders falls down in all these fights. The fight is going on. 52 Rage is in contention again with Star Goal, and this is a close range fight. But in situation, it is going to be Murtaza along with Rage Zen and Faster making a move on to then 3 kills. This is where Rage Zen is standing at this moment, and all the 3 players are alive, and they are making a move from the northern side. And guess what? We still have 7 teams left, but just the one player each surviving from the sides of Team QWERTY and ZARAR.
Absolutely, and they do not even have the comfort of the zone for the moment. And on the other front, talk about the side of Team QWERTY. That dude will be lost to the play zone itself. He tried his level best to stay alive, but will certainly not be able to, because this is the 6th zone and the damage being brought on is going to be quite a lot. On the other front, the team of Quraysh. This team has been absolutely dominating today. 15 kills is what this team is finding themselves at. This is just not the play, not the team that we saw earlier. I wonder what exactly happens on the final day. I mean, I've seen it through so many different tournaments that on the final day, teams absolutely change their playing game and become absolute behemoths. And that has happened now for the side of Quraysh Esports, where this team has become the behemoth for the day and are certainly toppling over the charts of so many of the teams that have been doing so good and consistent throughout the entirety of the tournament. But now, just that one day is what 52X were waiting for, and this seems like their day to be making, because it is going to be 15 points to that team with all 4 players still alive, and it is still not yet done, because 52X Rage are the ones who are going to be bringing in a little bit of a third-party position against the players of Quraysh, but that will just be a knock and not a kill for now.
They are in a complete rage, be it with the sides of Quraysh, be it with the sides of Ivy. Everywhere we're getting to see it is gonna be the 52 Rage players that are finding themselves into that kill feed, and one more knock, one more finish is what finding themselves at the 10 total points is what they will be able to at least take away one more kill. And this was a complete squad elimination thanks to that onslaught that also came in from the sides of Portal Esports, and they also helped 52 Rage to get more and more kills racked up. And now we are down to 3 teams, 8 players still alive, and the closest one to the circle is gonna be Team Star, but they are making it pretty difficult for Portal Esports, as now Insane goes down, Baby goes down, only gonna be 1 player surviving from the sides of Portal Esports. Certainly the future looks bleak. Mom2 the one surviving, but does he have enough of first aid, because the zone is slowly and steadily fastly approaching towards him.
Absolutely is, and in that he's the only player surviving for the side of Portal Esports. On the other front, as we move on along, 52X Rages, Zen right there with 7 kills, Murtaza with 6 kills, looking really good, the team of 52X, and they are going to be absolutely going to be eliminating Portal Esports' Mom2, thus getting 15 kills to themselves as well. And now just 2 teams remaining, Team Star against the side of 52X Rage, and in that it is the numbers advantage that 52X Rage will be moving along with when it comes to the positioning for these teams. Both these teams find themselves at the edge of the zone, so looking pretty comfortable, but the positioning of Star has been given away, and it is going to be 52X Rage's conversation, and they are going to be absolutely bringing some perfectly set up plays. But Zyro, that dude was so good, where Murtaza's health has been brought down to almost 10%, but certainly the kill has not been given away as of now, or now the knock has been given away, and this is going to result in a 2v2 situation between Team Star going up against 52X Rage, where Faster is going to be trying to create a little bit of a flank angle, and Fury is already set up on that flank angle, and Zen on the back end approach is going to try and get as much information as he possibly can to be able to let his teammate know that this is where the final player is, because they do know where Zyro is, but they do not know where the other final player is, and that is what Faster is going to be creating that flank angle for. For now, they are going to be waiting. They're just going to be patiently waiting, because in another 16 seconds we are going to be looking at another change into the zone itself, because the blue zone is going to be covering up all the space that we do see 52X Rage's players find themselves at.
Indeed, it is going to be a certain case. He's throwing out the pan, but that pan certainly missed the mark. That this get connected onto that tree trunk itself, and now he has to make a move. The circle is approaching, and so he has to make a move into the zone, and in doing so, it is going to be him finding himself in the prone position. Faster is certainly going to be the one that is still 10 meters away from this circle, but it seems that the circle is certainly favoring the sides of Team Star, but the smallness the circle is with which it hardly matters which team is getting the favor of the circle. Rather, who spots which team first, it's gonna be the most important thing. Fury has been spotted down, but still not getting down. Zyro brings the one knock in just a matter of time, where Star will be getting the last player down, and with that, it was an elimination for 52 Raiders. Now Team Star get one chicken before the day ends. It was well deserved, well awaited for them. 8 kill, 1439 damage, and now they are making a move. It was a fight between 15 and 16, and still Team Star is way above them.
What a play, what a wonderful play this is. 8 kills, a chicken dinner with 23 points is what Team Star walks away with. 1439 damage is what this team participated in. An amazing play being showcased from the side. But along with that, when it comes down to 52x, that team also did play their cards to perfection. In all of this, they walked away with 15 kills, I believe. But alongside all of this, of course, a team that we had to just every single time I believe we should be going back to is going to be Quraysh. This is a day for Quraysh Esports where they were so very dominating. With that, the MVP from the game is going to be Zen from 52x Rage with 8 kills. 8 kills to the dude, 910 damage that he was participated in. And along with that, we can see the healing done is also quite a lot. That means he was part of quite a lot of fights where he did suffer, take the damage also, but he did confirm those kills for himself and got 8 kills for the team. Amazing play.
But he lived the moment. I mean, 910 damage, 8 kill, whatever be the chance, whatever be the case, whichever be the team, he was the one that was just reigning supreme. He was just stepped into the fight right off the bat, where eventually the flight path eventually happened. It was him finding himself in that battle royale, and then it was an all easy affair for him to get more and more kills racked up. 8 kill is not a joke in the game of Sanhok itself. 910 damage. Survival time is also brilliant for him with 23 minutes and 48 seconds of it. And now the team looked pretty much strong with a total of kills secured. Along with that, it was also Murtaza's show along with Rage Zen. Both the teams are really looking it difficult for the rest of the lobby itself, but it seems that it's too late. But they had all the practices, they had all the opportunities to get things done, and they really dented, I mean, someone's dream. But then we got to see Quraysh Esports. Talk about this team. Bilal, Mani, Adiopi, everyone, 3 of us. I mean, they were looking just phenomenally well in terms of the kill that they were just racking up for themselves.
That is so true. Of course, the team of Quraysh Esports is certainly making quite a stride in today's games. Along with that, when we move on to the match summary, we've got ZARAR Sirius coming in right here with the longest distance kill of 282 meters. Amazing strat that has been showcased from the side of this team as well. And this is going to result in 52x Rage and Quraysh Esports, both of them walking away with 15 kills, 30 kills in total from just these 2 teams.
One more game left for the day. But before that, we have this match ranking where one more game where 52 Rage eventually chimed in. Quraysh, Team Star, Portal Esports, ZARAR Esports, IB Esports. So a lot of teams that still find themselves at the top to 12 to 16 of the total overall ranking are all of a sudden just striding up, as you just perfectly mentioned. And then we got to see IAT Esports, Clarity Esports, Freestyles with 1 point each, with Team Sky faltering down, Team QWERTY not a wonderful performance for themselves, but still IAT Esports need not to worry about, because with the way they approach toward the fight, it's the 2 match itself in today's gameplay where they walked away with no point whatsoever, but still the lead that they made in all these 3 days of the regional finals was just enough for them to find themselves still at the top. Again, faltering down in these 2 matches won't be hurting their chances.
Absolutely. With that, so many kills were taken on from these 2 teams that we just did mention on the first page. Let's go on through the Oppo F19 Pro moments to combine them all. And this is where 52x Rage started things off against the player of Team Sky. And on the other front, Modified pushed on along to take on this absolutely dominating force that is going to be of I8.
Indeed, I mean, it was really tough affair for themselves, but the Ladry really make it look so easy for the teams, and it was a complete squad wipe for the sides of Fire. And then it was IV trying to take the fight against Team Star, but did falter down. And then which was Modified, they did falter down. The team really took a good fight against I8, but faltered down against one big team that was on a charge, and that was Quraysh Esports. It was an all easy affair for ZARAR. Serious as Ghosta was taken care of, and as soon as he was done, it was an all easy. And then we got to see Quraysh Esports Adi with that crouch in in and out, crouch in and crouch out, and then those prone shot was certainly looking so mesmeric to watch in this game of Sanhok itself, and it was a freestyle elimination at that 9th spot with no point whatsoever, just one that they were able to secure in terms of placement points. 52 Rage also were making it difficult for the teams until unless they made sure that they were moving into the circle. It was already Team Star that was just waiting for, with the momentum that they were carrying with the Fury and Zyro. It was an important call, and then Rage Zen went down. The onslaught continued for Team Star, making it all happen for them.
Absolutely. With that, when you talk about the total damage this time around, it was an interesting play that was showcased from so many of these teams. But in all of this, Freestyle not even allowed to chime in with only 24 damage is what this team was able to accumulate, and that is not the play that we have seen from FS, but you cannot complain. I mean, if you've got teams like Team Star taking away 8 kills, you've got the combined kill of 52x Rage, as well as of course Quraysh Esports with 30.
Yeah.
I mean, 38 kills are right there.
More than-
38
yeah.
plays right there.
Not much of left for the rest of the lobby.
Exactly. What is the lobby going to do? What is the lobby going to do? But
And
in all
also
of
ZARAR
this,
7.
Yep, and ZARAR 7. But in all of this, the most important kill, I think, is coming in from the side of Modified. 1029 damage. The 4 kills that they got, the only 4 kills that they got, were the side of I8.
And then it was some damage, some sheer damage that it really took upon to the players of Quraysh Esports. But it was just a roller coaster ride for these teams. But then we have the overall ranking, where at the right spot with 214 points is where I8 Esports have been standing. And in that, it has been 2 failure for I8 Esports, where they have just walked away with no point whatsoever. They're still at the top, need not to worry about with the placement point that we are just talking about. Still 35, I guess, I mean, that's the point difference between them, and more than 40 points is where Team QWERTY is lagging behind, and that is pretty much unfetchable with one game pretty much left in the gameplay of today's itself. It is going to be Clarity Esports versus, I guess, Portal Esports. They must be eyeing upon to get on the 3rd spot with 116 points. Also for Portal Esports, the rest of the team that was on the 6th, 7th, 8th were still in contention. But somewhere down the line, 52 Rage Esports today have improved in terms of what they were securing earlier. And now they really have a chance from 83 to jump towards North Esports 87. They can still do better.
That is possible. That certainly is possible, but it is easier said than done. But because it is going to be one final game remaining. One final game remaining for the regional finals, where we will be jumping on to Erangel to close the deal, and we shall know which team will it be that will be confirmed for, of course, the positions that they are at. And of course, based on that, the prize pool is also going to be distributed. But talking about that PMPL slot for Season 4, it is looking more and more almost confirmed for the side of Team I8. With that, it is time for us to go on that short little break before we jump into the final game of the day. Stick around, we're going to be right back.
Here we go now.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. It's the word on the sea, kicking up the dust. You know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Hello and welcome once again to PUBG Mobile Club Open. This is of course the Pakistan region. A big thanks to Oppo F9 Pro. Hashtag book up your fun. We've got one final game remaining. Let's move on with the schedule. That will be showcasing what sort of a play has been made throughout the games today. We started the day off where it was UAGxTUF that got a chicken dinner. Moved on along to finally have QWERTY Esports get their first ever chicken dinner in the grand finals, and now it was the game where complete onslaught was showcased from the side of Team Star. But now we shall see which team will it be that will move on to reign in supreme on the final game of Erangel.
Indeed, that is going to be the case. I'll have my eyes straight upon that. This time, is it going to be again I8? This 3 times that they have played for this day itself, they did have faltered down. I mean, just the one game where they took a lot of kills. Apart from that, 2 matches of Erangel and Sanhok, no point whatsoever was that they will be able to taking care of. But what it ends well, that is going to be the case for the moment, as now Team QWERTY is finding themselves again to their Flipovka completely flight path that will be letting all the players go towards the players from the same side. But Quraysh Esports, I mean, talk about this team. They have been playing really well, and now it comes down to how the 3 players, Money, Dubai and with RDOP, will be taken care of, as now Bilal is not there.
That's what I was looking at. Bilal is not there. Interesting. We shall certainly see what sort of a play is this team going to be able to make now, because the previous games that this team has been participating in have been so ferocious. I mean, Bilal with the likes of Mani has been so on point in terms of the kills that they've been able to accumulate for themselves. It is just devilish play that Quraysh Esports have been participating in. But now this time around we shall see, and right off the bat it is going to be FS. First blood coming in from the side of Portal Esports. Our baby hand, it is not looking good for the side of FS, because Malik is the man who has been lost to the cause, and this is not the play that was required or anticipated from the side of FS. But that is what Portal Esports have done. The damage has been dealt, and now Portal Esports is on the run.
They are on the run after getting one important kill point. They are now finding themselves away from the situation where freestyle players are actually positioned. All the 3 players are in for silver formation. They have actually not run away, rather finding themselves in the closer vicinity. Black is just having that small little pistol from where he is actually trying to either take the fight or maybe dealt a big amount of damage onto the players. Still a contention, still a question. We'll have to see as Mom2 is trying to make a run. And it seems that yes, pistol is going to be the case where he'll trying to take up the fight over different directions. It is going to be the grounders. Jigsaw going down with Team Star Fury taking a case on some different tangent or some different angle, as now Freestyle Brack will be going in for those different approach, as now he is finding himself in a closer vicinity where Gully Boy is actually positioned. But what a start again for Portal Esports. Talk about their start. Their run is just not ending, and they have been a really good run from yesterday's game itself. For all the 4 matches were just going in their favor. All the 3 matches that we got to see in today's gameplay itself, it's just there. And one final game that is still left for this region finals of Pakistan region, PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall Split 2021. They are also making it all happen, and this time it is the area of Rozhok where we are heading towards. The contention is on against the players of Team Star and Jigsaw, along with other players of Team Grounders are just trying to hunt down the players. Fury location is completely revealed, and as soon as he found himself away from that oceanic region.
Well, what a play. What a play this has turned out to be. An interesting turn of events indeed. When it comes down to the playstyle that has been showcased from the side of these teams, it is going to be a dominating one, where Shaptar certainly has been lost from the side of Grounders. It is going to be the final game for this teams. And when it comes to these teams, are they going to be playing a YOLO strat is what we shall have to see. Are they going to be going guns blazing and just bringing in kills all across the board, or is it going to be a slow start? And this is seeming like the latter to be the case, where it is the Grounders who've lost one of their players, and now as they have Team Star across in the vicinity, they are going to be trying to absolutely hold that position for themselves, and in doing so the side of Grounders are going to try and back out of that. And as they do, Team Star will catch the player and not allow him to do so, and it is going to be ZARAR who is going to be getting the better half of that information, and in that retaliation will be able to get that knock. But now the question is, will the Grounders be able to give that revival to their teammate? Will they be allowed to give that revival to the teammate? Well, before that ends up happening, it is going to be NES Snow who is just jumping out in the open, and what a spray, what a play, where ZARAR has been brought down to his knees. No, not even a sliver of damage to his health, but an amazing play being showcased from that dude from NES. And Snow What amazing control that was from that longer distance. And in doing so, it is going to be Snow who has given away the information, and the grounder Sensei will certainly be bringing him down. It is going to be the side of Team Star, who are also not looking too good, because Fury is the team that is going to be trying the player who is going to be trying and hold that ground. For now, it is going to be an interesting play where these three teams are so very close into the vicinity against each other, but which team will be the one that will be able to get away from this entire conversation?
Indeed, still contention, as now the grounders are trying to take the fight. Esports Snow just went down and things are looking pretty uneven for themselves, and really wanted the grounders to go all guns blazing, as now Snow has been faulted down. Knight is still the one surviving along with Sensei, but it seems that both the teams have got an equal amount of damage, and the casualty from both the sides are the one that we'll have to see. But still Sensei is on a move. He's just waiting, moving left and right in order to gain more and more info. But certainly someone is coming. Daku is coming to get the revival done for Snow, as now things are looking odd for themselves. As soon as Daku comes in, it is going to be Esports that will be exerting a huge amount of pressure onto the players of the grounders, as the players are still alive, with Team Stars making a move onto the players from the sides of grounders. It is going to be Sensei again that will be making sure that the player does get huge amount of damage.
Well, it certainly is going to be the case, and in doing so, it is going to be the grounders who are going to be certainly trying to, well, hold that fort and take the kills for themselves. They've lost 2 of their players already to the cause. NES is trying their level best, so are the Team Star, because they are not going to be waiting around in this region. It's only 6.5 minutes into the game, and this is turning into quite an interesting play that is being showcased from all of these teams. An amazing turn of events where indeed the teams who have participated have been able to get a few of the kills confirmed for themselves. And on the other front of the entirety of the map, it is going to be Uzum from the side of I8, who is taking a fight against the players of UNB, and UNB, being none the wiser, are going to not be able to retaliate, because the players of I8 are such a dominating force. As they push together, they will retaliate nobody and will be able to just pincer their opponents down, and in doing so, it is going to be one perfectly set up push, and UNB has been brought down to their knees, the first team to get eliminated. And this is where it seems like Esports' players are going to be rushing in and pushing on to the players of the grounders, where the grounders we did just see had just a 2-man squad.
Indeed, and that can certainly be the demise, and now it seems that Snow is on a charge with the help of that grenade that comes in, and the players are really making it happen. But Knight, he should have known that there was one player that was pretty much close in the same vicinity. He did one small rookie mistake, and he has been punished to an extent that he has to leave the lobby. And now it's still 2 players alive, but Sensei, he's still down on 40 HP. Does he have enough of first aid? Does he have enough of bandage to heal himself up? But the grenade parade is on from the sides of Esports, as now Sensei is making a move. Knight, this one grenade, if gets landed perfectly into this, how? No, still not the case, as he's still not in the panic room. Rather, he is on the backhand side of this small little compound for the moment, with Sensei still holding the backhand side. It is going to be a tough challenge for them to actually take away from these fight, but certainly the knock should have been the case. But it's just the one wrong mistake that Snow did, and he has been punished to an extent, with GhostStar finding himself onto the other side of the road. All the 3 players from the sides of Esports are in a complete split, and Zameen can be the actual one. That can really create that flank angle. And now it seems that Daku is going to be making a push, but he needs to make sure that he doesn't come into the crosshair of Sensei. And now that smoke has actually blinded that opening. That means Daku can sneakily, slowly and steadily, can move towards that small little compound, and if that happens, it can be a demise for Team Grounders. But what am I able to see? It seems that Team Stars are getting important advantage of that hill that we get to see on the backhand side of Rozok. And yes, it is going to be not Team Star, rather it is UAG.
Well, TUF certainly bringing themselves known to this entire fight. The stalemate situation that the grounders were finding against the players, it is going to be stopped because NES, they are going to get knocked. It is going to be TUF to tank, and in that, TUF will be getting their kills confirmed for themselves. It seems like Daku was the man who was on top of that roof, but for now, it is going to be him who has been knocked. And as the game progresses on along, it seems like the grounders Sensei is the man who is now going to be utilizing this opportunity. We shall have to see if he will be pushing against these opponents, or will he be utilizing this exact same opportunity to be able to get away and absolutely create more opportunities for the side of the grounders to walk away on towards placement points. For now, the team of TUF have moved in and are and are certainly bringing in that onslaught towards the players of NES, and in doing so, they're going to be looking at bringing down the players. Daku has been revived, but Zaman has been brought down. Daku is on top of that. On top of that building, of course, on the roof, and it is going to be TUF's fight for now, but we shall see if they will be allowed to take this fight as they all rush in together and take the fight. Yes, without a moment's hesitation, the kill will be confirmed and TUF will be gaining supreme on the other front. When it comes down to North Esports' Gosta, the only man who is at that flank angle is going to have to move away from the entirety of the situation because he's left with just a one-man squad for the side of North Esports, and on the other front towards the Grounders side, those two players have TUF to thank.
Indeed, I mean, they really need to thank, because for a moment it seems like the Grounders can really go down for the moment, but Ghosta has got a lot of hit on his body. The one player surviving, for how long he won't be surviving, is now North Esports goes down. That marks the culmination and elimination of the players from the sides of North Esports as they have gone down, but certainly this has resulted in the UAG getting a lot of kills secured. But we have seen a lot of fight that erupted into the area of Rozhok, and now we need to move towards the area where other fights are actually erupting. This time it is going to be I8 with some different approach. Now they have made a rotation, came in from that area of a military base, and now they are finding themselves in a closer proximity, in a vicinity where they are finding the other players from the sides of Modified. On the backhand side, they are making sure that they just go down, and Bubber has been spotted on. It is Blade with his spray, spot on spray technique, and this will be not resulting him getting a lot of points for this moment, as still Crypto is the one guy that still has 1 kill in his favor. 4 kill is where Solvat I8 is standing at this moment, and Modified along with Bullet and Bubba is just finding themselves into, and Reviews is the one that is having some really cherishing time along with that FPP being switched. This is one good thing, and observers, thank you for bringing us this merry moment as we are also heading towards a merry looking fight. Uzium still on a roll, and with the help of these Tesla, we need one more emote. Yep, there we go, Reviews, there we go, it's okay, there we go. I8 on a roll along with everyone else. They know that yes, they have been qualified, and this is the moment. They are really making it beautifully. Things spotted on for this moment, but they need to make sure that at any moment it can be 52 rays that can really take the game away from themselves, but they already know that they are going to be the one that will be getting qualified for the PMPL stage itself. But some real merry movement making in from the sides of I8 itself. But now we have freestyle in contention with Quraysh Esports, and Quraysh Esports, their run is still continuing, as now we are getting to see Dubai along with Money, along with RDOP now coming in close along with the players where they are finding themselves in the closer proximity with the freestyles. And before they come in, it's a welcome shot that has been struck from the sides of Respect, and Respect is not respecting the players. He is just looking mercilessly hungry to get all these skills acclimated and stacked up for him. As soon as he makes a move, he needs to make sure that it's going to be big blow, because Quraysh Esports has also become one tough team to deal with, and just because of that they need to be brought down to their knees. But on different tangent, it is Clarity players that are striking a big blow onto the players of ZARAR, and CDS has been dealt with some serious damage.
What a play this is turning out to be for these games. They are bringing a lot of chaos indeed, and in doing so, it is going to be Clarity Esports' Bablu Portway boy, who has been the grenadier for now and is going to be bringing in quite a lot of destructive force into the entirety of this gameplay. On the other front, it was ZARAR onto the receiving end, and it is none other than Modified who have been able to reign on supreme against the players of ZARAR, and two of those players have already been lost to the cause. Vaz and of course Bongo are the two players who are remaining. Sirius and Coronas have been lost, and Vaz is now going to be burnt alive from the looks of it, because the Molotov is going to be bringing in a lot of damage to him, along with, of course, that perfectly set up nade is going to be utilized to bring that dude down, and that remains just one player surviving for the side of ZARAR, as Vaz has been brought down to his knees. He most certainly will be eliminated and sent back into the lobby as well. This is not the play that was anticipated from the side of ZARAR. With that, we've got only one player remaining for ZARAR Esports on the other front. Talk about Team Sky, a team that has not really been able to get the games working for themselves. It is not looking good as well, because they are also left with just a two-man squad. But 52 X-rays last time in the last game, Sanhok, they had 15 kills. This time around, it seems like they're just starting their journey off on the 14th minute marker with the 2 kills that they've been able to confirm.
Indeed, I mean, this is a slow start in terms of what Rage Esports did show in the game of Sanhok itself, but certainly they have their neighborhood check, and they are making sure that NFP players will be pinned down, but as soon as they make a rotation, it is going to be Team QWERTY that are slowly and steadily approaching towards where other teams are actually positioned, and it seems that they don't have any idea whatsoever. They are trying to go. Khan is in the open, and at any point, at any moment, Rage 52 Rage can bring a lot of fire onto the body of Team Khan and also Team QWERTY. Along with that, it is going to be Destroyer that will be making sure that if it comes in, he will be the one that will be dealing a huge amount of damage. And now 52x Rage are finding themselves in that smoke cloud that they had created for now. And as soon as the circle will make a shift, it seemed that the Potato Hill will be completely vanquished, because it's for certain that circle will be making, if it makes a shift, that will go away from this area that is finding for this moment. And I8 are completely finding themselves in the centralized position that even if the circle makes the hardest of the shift, they still will be finding on the edge of the circle, and some loots are being distributed beautifully, some good show of camaraderie and a bonahomie that we are getting to see from the sides of Team QWERTY, and the players are just getting prepped up before they are taking the fight. But all of a sudden, the circle has shifted towards the same area where 52 Rage were expecting to be, and now this is going to be one challenging stuff for 52 Rage if Team QWERTY decides to challenge onto the players where Potato Hill can be a sort of contestation. But no, it seems to not be the case, as now Team QWERTY are being challenged upon with one player still onto the Potato Hill. 3 players have come in, and this is one fight that Team QWERTY needs to win.
Absolutely too, and there's no two ways about it. It is QWERTY who is there reigning in supreme in terms of the kill department that they're showcasing, as well as the spray that have been so on point. They've not lost one of their players. They are certainly bringing in a lot of damage to the players of 52x, and it is going to be none other than Khan on our screen, who is absolutely stopping the onslaught that 52x Rage are planning on. And it is going to be Murtaza who will also be caught off guard, and this is just absolutely dominating play that Khan is able to showcase. One by one, he has been able to bring these players down, and 52x Rage, none the wiser, seems like will be lost to the cause, because the kills now finally are going to be confirmed for Khan, and 3 kills confirmed for the dude, and he's going to be given the revival to his teammate, the only dude who fell down in that entire fight, and that was Destroyer. But of course, his teammates are right there to give him the support on the other front. Talking about the edge of the zone, it is going to be I8 with 4 kills confirmed for themselves. They are going to be now bringing the onslaught to the face of Team Star, and this is looking really neat for I8, because they are going to be able to control this area. But for how long is what the zone is going to be is a question to be asked from the zone itself, because for now this is the 4th zone. But as we move on along into the game, since Team I8 find themselves at the edge, they are going to have to make a rotation, and when they do, I just hope they don't get caught off guard, because that is going to be a high possibility, because there are 13 teams still remaining as we reach the 17-minute marker in this game.
School, the edge of the school, the apartments are still under the contention, as now I8 Esports are trying to make a move. But before that happens, they need to make sure that they really cut off some team's rotation, as Loser has been pinned in the open. But as soon as Baby makes a rotation from some different tangent, it is going to be him that will be completely blown away. It seemed that it was ZARAR that was really taking the fight, but now rather ZARAR Bonga has fell down. 2 tap shots onto Gully Boy and also on 420 Boy, and that has resulted into FS going down, Respect also going down. Bonga really looking completely gobsmacking at this moment, and all of a sudden a complete destruction is where we are heading towards, as ZARAR Esports looks unstoppable. Team Star also on a move, as after losing Fury, they need to make sure that they move towards the zone, as we got to see this Potato Hill was a moment ago was being utilized and captured by 52x Rage. But as soon as the circle made a shift, it was them that tried to make a move onto the players of Team QWERTY, and rather it was Khan along with the players of Team QWERTY with Destroyer and Wolverine coming to action that really made sure that they went down. But Play Zone is also taking care of rest of the lobby, as now Team Grounders players are also going down, as we are still heading towards the 19-minute circle. The players are still holding the edge of the circle, and it seems that Team Star are just waiting that as soon as the circle will make a shift, and then will decide what sort of route are we going to be taking. But before that happens, I8 Esports are still positioned at the same place. They haven't moved an inch left or right, rather just waiting for team to come into the lab, and they will be getting more and more kills racked up. And this is one good game that they will be looking up to. 4 kills where the stand is moment, and Blade needs to patch himself up, and this circle shift will eventually will decide which team is going to be getting the shift of it. It is certainly not going to be the case for Team Star, and also for the team side of Voltrux, and along with the sides of Team QWERTY, and they need to make a move into zones. Fortunately, they have all the vehicles set up for them, and this is not going to be a tough task for them as soon as they find themselves under the crosshair of I8 or Team QWERTY.
Exactly. For now, that is certainly going to be the case. On the other front, talk about Portal Esports. This team has been bringing in a lot of ruckus for the side of Clarity Esports, as Clarity Esports had just received one knock from the side of PES. Of course, the teammates were there to give them the revival. On the other front, this is a royal looking team for the side of Quraysh Esports, as they've been able to create so much of cover in that open area thanks to the vehicles that they have control over, looking really good, but they are also at the edge of the zone and not in the comfort of the zone altogether itself. On the other front, finally, we've got Quraysh Esports on our screens. Last time walking away with amazing points. This time around, this is finally the team that is going to be bringing in and reigning supreme against the players of i8, and Uzum is going to be the second kill for the side of Quraysh Esports. And as they push on along, it seems like i8 have already left the apartment buildings and are going to be getting themselves into their vehicles to get into the zone. They've lost one player right there, but that's going to be absolutely fine. Whereas on the other front, for Quraysh Esports, they have 2 kills confirmed for themselves. Only a 3-man squad, looking pretty neat and playing to their perfection. We still have 12 teams remaining, 20 minutes into the zone. Into this game, the zone has shifted, and now Quraysh also will have to move away from this apartment, from the school apartments, and are going to have to find themselves into their vehicles. As they do so, 12 teams. That means not a lot of area will be available, and there will be a lot of contestations and third parties.
Indeed, that can be the case, but clarity on a different tangent, pinning down the players of Portal Esports, and Bomb2 goes on. Play zone is taking a huge amount of damage onto the players of Quraysh, as now 2 falls down. It is going to be last player standing, but moving on along, we have a fight that is happening on the southern side of the circle, where Ivy are really making it difficult for the teams from the sides of from different teams that are trying to make a move into the circle, that are and were the part of the contention, as now Team Star makes an exit at this 11th spot, and also Portal Esports follows them next with just the 2 kills. But IB Esports, they are also certainly looking in a different color, whatever be the case. 1 kill is just what they have been able to secure, with the player needs a revival. This is going to be one big game that they would love to make before this regional finals end, and this is going to be also a challenging thing for Bonga from the sides of ZARAR to survive, because he is the last player alive, and the smoke, as soon as it dissipates, this will be an invitation from multiple directions to finish him off, and it is going to be an easy task for the teams to get the things and kills more and more acclimated for themselves.
Exactly, 8 teams remaining. We've got the side of Team QWERTY looking pretty neat with 6 kills for themselves. We've got Clarity Esports sitting on 5 kills. Amazing plays being showcased. I8 on the other front have only been able to confirm 4 kills for themselves, but that's going to be no problem at all, because they've got the kill lead. They've got the lead in terms of the overall points itself. In terms of the kill, also they actually do have a lead on the overall standings. But with that, let's move on to the fight itself, where it is going to be i8 player Crypto taking on the players of TUF, and TUF have given away a little bit of that information, and that information will be resulted in just perfect sprays from the side of Crypto to the face of the opponents, and TUF are the ones who are going to be on the receiving end. Talk about QWERTY, this team is also not in the circle for now. They're at the edge, but will certainly be able to get themselves in the comfort of the zone. Same can be said for I8. I would like to think so. They are not in the zone. Yes, they're almost about 90 to 100 meters away, but their position has been caught. The only cover that they have is this vehicle and the smoke, and as soon as they get away from this, that is when the journey for i8 could very well stop from this game.
That can certainly be the case, but before that happens, the team is really averting all these chances, all these dangerous situations that can happen, and they are creating the smoke cloud, and the player needs a revival. It's just the Blade that's still surviving, and he was the one that was really knocked in the very early stage of the game, but till now he is holding his ground pretty well at this moment, and now it's an onslaught that comes in from the side of Team QWERTY against the players of IB. But before that happens, it is going to be Crypto that is just falling down. I8 certainly looking bleak at this moment, as now players are moving and marching forwards into the zone, as now IB is also making a big damage and dealing a huge amount of detrimental damage onto the face of QWERTY, and now they are in contention with the Team QWERTY along with IB Esports. The fight is still on, and coming in from the southern side, this was not an easy task for both the teams, but the fight is parallelly going in. But some different fights are also happening on the northeastern half of the circle, where Clarity are really pinning down the players of Modified. Bullet is the one player alive standing along with Hamad, with Clarity, Pika along with 420 boys still standing. Pika needs the revival done and also the healing done, and before he makes the revival, he is the wiser one to get that heal himself up, and now it is going to 1-1 fight. 420 against Bullet. Which team is going to be going down? It is going to be Modified, as the final nail in the coffin has been brought down. 4 kill is with what I8 also leaves the lobby.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're left with 4 teams remaining. Clarity Esports is still part of the arena with 10 kills to this team. This team is looking really, really good. They have all 4 players, well, pretty much all 4 players alive, and they do need to give that revival, but that will be no problem whatsoever at all in that doing so. 4 teams that are remaining. We also do have Ivy that is part of this entire saga with only 1 kill that they've been able to confirm, but slowly sneaking into the zone itself, not giving away any information. It is going to be TUF against the players of Clarity from the looks of it, and Ivy most certainly are going to be just maintaining the silence that they have been able to do so. That is only if Team QWERTY does not end up catching them off guard, because Team QWERTY, another thing that they're going to have to be working towards is to not let any of these teams bring that onslaught to their face, because Team QWERTY, well, their information has been given away to so many of the teams that these teams are now retaliating from the side of TUF as well as Clarity. Team QWERTY is receiving a lot of lead, a lot of bullet, but in all of this fight, it is going to be TUF. Edgar, he was so on point. He was so on point. Danny just somehow survived that. But a perfect spray that has been showcased on the side of TUF can be detrimental for the players of Clarity. But as of now, it is certainly not the case. And my word, it is going to be turned into, well, vengeance, because Danny has been brought down, and it is going to be the opening that TUF were waiting for. Edgar is going to be blowing that perfectly set up nade, and in doing so will be creating an open area. But it seems like now QWERTY is where TUF is going to be focusing their attention towards, because one by one they are just trying to bring in some perfect knocks, and this is looking like TUF's controlled domination.
Edgar is just not stopping. With the help of that M24 he's in hand with the 8x equipped on it. He's really trying to make sure that whatever be the case, he's going to be the one that will be making sure that is going to be deciding the fate of the rest of the lobby and rest of the players. And now Edgar is on a move, was on a move, I should rather say, as now he has been brought to the knees. The onslaught continues on the sides of Clarity, and the best part for Clarity is all the 4 players are constricted and attracted towards 4 different directions, taking the fight individually, and in doing so they have been certainly successful, as now it is going to be a fight between Virus and also between one player standing from the sides of Clarity, and that has resulted themselves going down. Rampage mode is where 420 boy is standing at this moment, and this is resulted from the sides of UAGxTUF to go down as far as possible. 8 kill is with what Team QWERTY leaves the lobby. It is going to be Wolves that is still surviving. We are down towards the 26 minute and 23 seconds of this markup of this clock, and we still have 3 teams alive. 4 all players from the sides of Clarity are still alive. The player needs the revival for sure, because they haven't been eliminated. It's 420 boy that needs that important revival, and since he has been given the revival, it is going to be a tough challenge for now UAGxTUF to survive in this situation. But you really need to commend the guys from the sides of Ivy Esports that are finding themselves still into that position. 2 players are still alive. What sort of performance they can do in this situation, that is going to be one case. But Sliver of an HP, he's still surviving. Avenger was trying to take the player down, but before he goes down, it is going to be Pika that will be putting the final nail in the coffin. 15 kill is with what Clarity Esports is trying to make a mid in this situation. And can this be one more? No, this is not going to be the case.
Well, it seems like now finally it is going to have to be Flex Esports that will have to reign in supreme against the players of Clarity Esports as they try to do so. Of course, their information and their position has been given away to Clarity Esports, and Clarity Esports is very well equipped and ready and prepped from the side of Pika as well as to the side of 420 boy, who will be right now given that revival to the teammate. Will most certainly be working towards getting that perfectly set up sprays, and along with that, it is Pika right now with the smoke that he's creating, the smoke wall that will be certainly working in the favor. But on the other hand, when you talk about the zone itself, the zone is not favoring any of these teams. The zone is going to be away 40 meters from the side of Clarity Esports and roughly about 25 meters from the side of course, the side of Ivy Esports. And Ivy Esports is a 2-man army. The smoke wall is going to be created from their side as well, and this is where Clarity Esports can very well bring in the utility parade, and again that is what this team is showcasing. A perfectly set up spray is going to be bringing down that player, and final blow is going to be from the side of Dr. Fate. But Dr. Fate, even though he's trying his level best, will not be allowed to do so. What a way to go down. What a way to go down. It is going to be Clarity Esports who get the perfect game. Of course, they were waiting for the final day. I mean, this team did not have a chicken dinner, right? And now, as they've moved on into the final day, they have gotten 2 chicken dinners, and that is just the team that we were talking about. That this is a team that needs to get the chicken dinner. Hopefully soon, the entire journey moved on towards the final game of the regional finals, and they have done it so with such grace and such ease. This team is looking really good. Pika right there. being the MVP of the game. 7 kills, 1016 damage, along with 1 assist in the 26 minutes of survival time.
Indeed, I mean, this guy was really looking ferocious in terms of the gameplay he was taking in. Whatever be the fight, whatever be the direction, whatever be the team, whatever be his position, he was just on point with him and trying to take down the players. It was an all easy affair for him, and as soon as he was in, it was also Bablu's 420 boy, it was also Bablu's Dani, everyone just chiming in this last game itself, and the statement is what Clarity has thrown onto the face of the rest of the lobby. It was all easy affair for them. But moving on along, we have this match summary where Rahman from the sides of Team QWERTY really made it happen for himself with 3 assists. I8's reviews, it was a tough time for him to survive in the situation, and he used all those smokes, and that's the reason we find himself in the most utilities used, and that was of 15. But certainly the match ranking where we got to see 32 total pointers where Clarity Esports is standing, and then we get to see double of what UAGxTUF secured in this match is where Clarity Esports is standing in this very last game of regional finals.
What a play coming in from the side of Clarity Esports, no two ways about it. Along with all of this, this was not the play that was anticipated from Freestyle from the final game, but that is what was given to them. And as we move on along, an amazing turn of events has been showcased from all of these teams. This has been a very incredible but ferocious region that we have casted, and it has been a pleasure because these teams, they are so very good indeed. I mean, Quraysh Esports is the one that just was not anticipated in terms of the way that they played, but of course GG to their playstyle as well. With that, let's move on through the final moments. Of course, that is going to be the Oppo F9 pro moments from this game.
The fight stepped right off the go. I mean, 6-7 minutes the fight was still on between, and there was contention between a lot of teams. Talk about North Esports, and then it was an all easy affair because Team Rounder need to thank UAG with the fight that they came up against North Esports that really give a chance and a breathing space for the Grounders to survive in this situation, because it was really looking tough for them because all the 3 players from the side of North Esports was making it difficult for the sides of Team Grounder. But as soon as UAG came in, it was an all easy affair, and then we went down to all the haywire that was created in from the sides of Eastern side where IE was making it difficult for the situation, and then it was an IB's Esports game. All the 4 players were going in modified. They were being charged upon by the players of Clarity that did secure a huge amount of kill itself in this match, and then we got to see some skull-cracking shots from the sides of Edgar's M24, and that was so mesmeric to watch. A good fight that came in this last match itself on the sides of Clarity Esports, and thus resulting a total of 2,872 damage and also finding themselves into the 17 kills. But UAGxTUF, just the 7 kills and a damage of more than 2,000. This is the number. This number speaks volume of the performance that TUF has shown throughout this tournament.
Most certainly. Had Clarity brought in this sort of a playstyle a little bit of a day ago, perhaps, they would have been in contestation to get themselves on the top. There is no two ways about it. Because the team, the way that this team has played today, they have gotten so many points. Of course, I8 were working towards getting those lead converted for themselves as well, as they do find themselves on the top of the leaderboard. But we shall see when it comes to the overall rankings, how big a lead, what sort of a lead have the teams been able to create from these games, because it was an absolutely ferocious ride on this final day. And in doing so, it is going to be, of course, I8 Esports with 220 points in the 16 games that they played. 125 kills is what they showcased. But look at Clarity Esports. I mean, the playstyle that they've been able to bring in, they were in contestation against Team QWERTY itself to move on along on towards that second spot, but their journey was stopped in the tracks. And well, then again, I mean, nothing taken away from their gameplay. Perfect gameplay being showcased from the side of this team, alongside which, as we move on along towards the next page, this is where 52x Rage also did showcase that they are here to fight and they are here to dominate, and that worked out in their favor as well.
Indeed, and going before this match itself, Modified really had that one green marker. That means they really stepped up to that perfection in terms of the performance that they were really having. And certainly a good game. Talk about Grounders, ZARAR Esports. Grounder really started the tournament with a start, but then it was not enough for them, as now Freestyles and teams like QWERTY was making it just difficult for them. And Kill Leaders is where we will be heading towards, and that will certainly be the name and the fame for Crypto from the sides of I8 Esports. 45 kills, 7,382 damage, and survival time of not more than 20 minutes. Just the 19 minutes 47 seconds, but still enough of gun power for him to bring 45 kills in just the 16 matches.
Absolute dominating play from the dude. Of course, as we move on towards the other players, we do have Team QWERTY's Voltrix, Clarity Esports' Bablu 420 boy, of course, alongside that I8 players are going to be there as well, because that team, I mean, that team just does not shy away from the kill department. We saw the amount of kills that this team has been able to accumulate, and in that it is a huge congratulations to the side of I8, because that team of course will be walking away with the money, but with that the bragging rights that they are the ones that are qualified from this PMCO Pakistan region to go into PMPL season 4. Of course, a major undertaking that they have been able to do with such ease. Along with that, we do reach the end of our show, and of course the end of PMCO Pakistan region. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. Thank you of course to Oppo F19 Pro for making it all happen. We will hopefully be back again in another tournament in the future. Until then, take care. Bye bye.
Here we go now. 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 Here we go now.